Masters now.
Mostly sunny and 15 today. Tomorrow mostly sunny 16. Wednesday partly cloudy 17. Thursday sunny 18. Right now it's 6. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Transform your outdoor space and turn it into a great year-round entertainment area with an opening and closing roof from Louver House. Our Louver House roof will let in the perfect combination of airflow and sunlight, so you can entertain no matter the weather. Best of all, they're manufactured right here in SA with rain sensors and options like LED lighting. Find out more with a free design measure and quote. See the light with Louver House. louverhouse.com.au.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Unfold your story with Galaxy AI on the new Samsung Galaxy Z series. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 have big battery power for creating and playing. They both feature a slim dynamic screen that flips up or folds out. It has a new hinge, screen, powerful camera and Galaxy AI to drive on-the-fly language translation or edit photos. Pre-order the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Fold 6 before the 31st of July and receive a $400 Harvey Norman gift card and 1 year of Samsung Care Plus valued at $229 via redemption. Prices start from $1,799 for the Samsung Flip and $2,749 for the Fold at Harvey Norman. Terms and conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
The Posture Care Chair Company has moved to a new home at 107 Sturt Street between King William Street and Whitmore Square. Discover our tailor-made chairs crafted right here in Adelaide with our patented zero-gravity design. And say goodbye to all comfort complaints. Celebrate our grand opening with us and save up to $1,000 on your brand new tailor-made recliner chair, plus complimentary express build, plus free delivery. Come on in and visit our new place, the Posture Care Chair Company. T's and C's apply.
At Coles, win up to $100 off your in-store shop instantly. Spend $20 in-store and scan your registered Flybuys card to find out if you've won. Competition ends September 10, 2024. Open to AU residents, 18 years plus. Limits, exclusions and T's and C's apply. SA permit T24/706.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 6, good morning to the greatest sporting nation on earth. It's still official as of this minute. Might change in a second, but right now, Australia won, everyone else last. We're going to be talking with some of the legends of the Australian Olympic team over the course of the morning today. The father of Ariane Titmus, fast becoming one of the legends of the Australian Olympics, will be joining us from Paris after 6:30. She just had a swim, actually, a short time ago. Also, and a great local story, we're going to speak to Steve Moore, the father of Jessie Moore, who became the first South Australian male gymnast to compete in the all-around, did so over the weekend, and made it through to the final. I reckon the Moore family are going to be absolutely cock-a-hoop. We'll be chatting with them a little bit later today. Also, we'll get you across the big news happening around Adelaide, Australia, and the world. Tim Lester for 7 News is going to get us across a shocking situation in Israel that's threatening a wider conflict now with Lebanon, but we'll get him to tease out the details. Jade Robrin's out on the road. John Schuman's going to join us after 8:30 as well. It's always fun when we get to chat with John. He's coming on a little bit later in the morning. And, of course, it's a Monday, so Stacey Lee after 7:30. We'll talk state politics. Big federal reshuffle yesterday on the agenda as well. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. I didn't forget your name, Will. I was just trying to think. What was Norman? It was Norman May who popularised the term "gold, gold, gold" for Australia. Yeah, it's a nice feeling at the moment, isn't it? You know, waking up. I wonder if our listeners are doing the all-nighter or if they're just trying to get up early.
I wonder who has found themselves suddenly caught up in it. Because
I reckon a lot of people.
Yeah, my wife. I had the funniest. So Saturday night we had a function, and because this job has sapped any staying power I have in my life, we got home and I just collapsed in bed. The next morning I got up and I went, she's having a sleep in, what's going on? So I went up and woke her up and what's happening? She said, oh, well, accidentally I stayed up till 5 a.m. and watched the entirety of the Olympics coverage.
5 a.m.?
Yeah.
You're joking.
We got home from a function around midnight and she stayed up for the next 5 hours watching it. Had no plans to, but just got swept up in
It's addictive, and I can see how Allison did that because it's quite dangerous. You know, you might be sitting there and look, you know, no disrespect or offence intended to any of our friends who are really into dressage, but you know, you might be watching Australia Argentina hockey and going, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
But then the dressage will come on. You go, okay. But then 10 minutes after that, there'll be some kayaking. You're going, oh, hang on.
Well, it's all a dopamine hit, isn't it? Because down the bottom, even if this thing isn't up for you, it'll be coming up next.
Yeah.
Australia goes for gold in the pool.
Yeah.
Next could be 2 hours away. But, well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, or Jess Fox winning a gold overnight in the kayaking.
The kids have set up that 9 app so you can jump around and look at whatever you want. I don't know how to do that. I can't make it work. I just use the main channel.
Or you use we'll tell you what you're watching in the
Olympics.
Olympics.
Just put my
I can't do that.
No, I just trust them to do it. Although there's always dramas. There's always like they go to the wrong event, and you know, I mean historically, not in the last few days, but you know, because it comes down to a judgment call as to what people are going to watch. But you know,
I can't. I hate the coverage where it's like, and we leave the Olympic Hockey Stadium now to take you to the rhythmic gymnastics. Like, well, no, I might just let me pick the one I want to watch. I'll do it that way. Thank you.
I tell you what, I wish there was a function on Fox Footy that could have done that, because it would have been good if at quarter time at Adelaide Oval yesterday, because I was home watching it on TV, doing a bit of cooking, thinking, they're looking all right here at quarter time.
Yeah,
nice,
good first quarter,
good first
solid
quarter.
start.
Wouldn't it have been good if it said, and we leave the coverage of the Adelaide Crows Hawthorn clash here at quarter time to go to the dressage.
Yeah. Instead, we left it to go to your own private nightmare.
To go to sleep. What was that?
That was garbage. And I'm not going to take this kind of mockery on the Duttons text line that's already coming through. Dave Lloyd said, just want to do a quick check on Will. As happenstance has it, I heard the Crows v Hawthorn post-game review, and it was one sound blow-up. Yeah, some of us may have just cracked.
Did you lose your mind?
Yeah, a little bit.
Good on you.
I had enough.
What'd you say? Can you give us a pricey?
I can't remember. You know what? It all went black for a moment, and when I came to, Sam Daddo was in the next commentary box over, pointing and laughing at me. That's 100% a true story, by the way.
What about Port? What about Port?
Yeah, great win.
Yeah, you know, I actually think there's a bit of a resurgent up yours haters from what I would call the Ken Hinkley camp. Listen to the commentary on Friday night. A lot of the people who know footy, and I saw one of the football columnists in the paper had a very strong, this guy's got the best win-loss ratio of any coach.
Oh, no, Ken Hinkley, this is the thing that will drive. I know where this sentence is going. I'll also be careful because the Port Adelaide pitchforks will be coming for you. Die-hard Port people are convinced there's a media conspiracy to protect Ken Hinkley.
Yeah.
Whereas every other coach gets the sack the coach treatment, Ken Hinkley doesn't get it.
I know. Why does Ken get the layoff Ken, we love Ken?
Because I think...
Is it just because he's a really good bloke?
I don't know him at all. I've never met him. I'm guessing he's a great bloke. I think it's as simple as that. I don't know. I don't know him, but he does get the...
Well, what about when Adam Simpson left? You see the front page you got in the Western Australian?
The bloke had won him a premiership.
I know. Premiership coach finally goes, see you, Simo. And it had what?
Premiership coach.
The entire win-loss ratio from the last 4 years done as a giant graphic on the front page.
That was outrageous.
Certainly was. But we're not going to stay top of the medal tally, are we? Because all the, drugged up East German gymnasts will come from nowhere and knock us off at some point, won't they?
We doing Olympic references from the early 90s now, are we? The youth country doesn't even exist anymore. I hope
East
that
Germany.
would be good. We could do the sort of, I'm worried about the Soviet Union.
Yeah, that's right.
Yugoslavia's looking good.
You don't have to worry about the Soviet Union this time. There's only 14 Russians there.
You don't.
And the Soviet Union.
I keep refreshing. We're still top, and the moment that ends, I won't be updating it. We can do a bit of fake news of our own. 14 after 6 news headlines are coming up in just a moment. We should make point of this. Our building has no internet this morning. So,
speaking of
a few people are texting
life in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly right. This show's going to be like that this morning because we've been cut off for whatever reason.
I can't see any text messages.
Yeah, I've got the texts here.
Oh, good.
But we've got no. A lot of them are saying, "Where's your live stream?" There's no live stream here. There is no live stream. YouTube's working,
And
but
believe it or
Facebook's
not, I shaved and everything last night.
Unbelievable.
I know. I look really presentable.
Well, if you want to find
For a
that out,
change.
you have to go to the 5AA YouTube live stream this morning.
I see YouTube's working.
YouTube's, I don't know why that's working, but Facebook's not. Something's
How
happened.
bizarre.
Something's happened. CrowdStrike, what are they up to?
Yes.
They push out a sneaky update
Yeah,
last
exactly.
night.
Bit of code. Bit of errant codes
Just a
landed in the
patch.
system.
They had to patch something.
Oh, yeah, just patching the system, man. I swear I did it before I left on Friday.
15 minutes after 6, news headlines in a moment.
From the creators of the 2021 and 2022 Drive Car of the Year comes the next big thing. The all-electric 7-seat Kia EV9. The 2024 Drive and now World Car of the Year. Visit your nearest Kia showroom or find out more at kia.com.au.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Feel good health catch on with Bupa. Get up to 10 weeks free when you join Bupa on eligible products. T's and C's apply. For award-winning health insurance, search Bupa 10 weeks free today.
Music of the Night, a spectacular celebration of musicals from Andrew Lloyd Webber, London's West End, Broadway and more. Music of the Night, coming to Her Majesty's Theatre, Adelaide, Saturday, August 10 at 2 p.m. Tickets on sale now. Don't miss it. Book at tickettech.com.au. Enjoy this sensational 2-hour matinee performance at Her Majesty's Theatre, Adelaide, 2 p.m. Saturday, August 10. Book now.
At Complete Care, we're more than just a care provider, we're a family. As we celebrate our 10th year, our mission remains the same, to empower our specialised team of carers and client service managers to help people living with a disability. We provide personalised services, including cleaning and home maintenance, to social support and transportation. We look after you like family, offering a warm, caring touch that sets us apart. At Complete Care, we're the company with heart. Complete Care, with a K.
The way we connect with listeners is changing. Radio, podcast, streaming, in-store, and the way to connect your business with millions of Aussie listeners every week is at Amplify. August 27 and 28 at Jama's Restaurant, Bowden. Tickets are free, but you need to register at audiorsvp.com.au. Hear how audio can change the way you do business for the better. Register now at audiorsvp.com.au.
Thanks to Solar Heart, smart savings are in the air and on your roof. By replacing your old water heater with a Solar Heart heat pump, you can create hot water out of thin air. And with our smart solar power systems and trusted Solar Heart warranties, you'll turn sunshine into savings for years to come. Right now, you'll also save $500 on any Solar Heart heat pump or solar power system 5 kilowatts and above. That's right, $500 off heat pumps and solar power. Get smart. Get Solar Heart. Terms and conditions apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
18 minutes after 6, news headlines on this Monday, the 29th of July. Yeah, this will be news to some people. South Australia's economy, the best performing in the nation. That's according to the ComSec State of the States report. Third consecutive win in a row for South Australia. Now, I don't know if that's...
Is it sector by sector? Like, was that...
We'll go after 7 o'clock. I've got the sort of granular detail that we'll go into.
Yeah. Have you seen those new figures about retail and restaurants? Crikey.
No, retails. Well, we've been in a retail recession in and out over the course of the last 12 months in this country. But this is... It's not bad enough. It's not bad enough to curb inflation. This is the impossible situation we're in at the moment.
Apparently the number of restaurants closing is the highest it's ever been recorded.
Yeah, I bet your building and construction would be close as well to all-time levels of insolvency.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot.
Nearly 3/4 of all disability providers are considering closing because of recent price changes. The NDIS... the National Disability Insurance Agency has placed a cap on growth. A survey conducted by Peakbody NDS shows hundreds of providers won't be able to continue operating due to soaring costs. At least 12 people have been killed, many others injured in a rocket attack that hit a town in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. Most of the casualties were teenagers who were playing football. This is horrible, this story. One of the worst single attacks on Israel's northern border since the start of the Gaza war last October. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has blamed Hezbollah. He's promised revenge and said he was cutting short his visit to the United States.
Since I was updated about the disaster, I have been holding continuous security consultations, and I've directed that our return to Israel be brought forward. As soon as I arrive, I will immediately convene the Security Cabinet. I can say that the State of Israel will not let this pass in silence. We will not overlook this.
A lot of people say, why pluck out one of the atrocities to talk about this morning when there's been months' worth of them on all sides? The reason this is newsworthy is the threat that this expands to a broader conflict in the region.
And given the way Israel responded after October 7 under Netanyahu's leadership, no stuffing around. I don't think he's going to, in the same way he wouldn't put up with Hamas doing what it did, I don't think he's going to put up with Hezbollah doing what it did, which raises the prospect, because Hezbollah is the Lebanon-based terror group, of another country being dragged into the war. So it's a big political story, a big international politics story.
We'll talk more with Tim Lester about that before 7 o'clock this morning, because the US has been quick to try and soothe those tensions, calm that tension. They don't want this to expand into a broader conflict, so we'll hear from him very shortly. Back here in Australia, the Prime Minister's reshuffled his front bench team. 2 senior ministers pushed to different roles. Have a listen to Michael Packey's report.
As expected, Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill and Immigration Minister Andrew Giles have been dumped from their positions. The federal government has been under intense scrutiny over their handling of both portfolios, which has seen high-risk asylum seekers allowed into the community. Ms O'Neill remains in Cabinet but has been moved into the housing role, while Mr Giles takes on skills and training. Tony Burke moves away from the employment portfolio and takes on both Home Affairs and Immigration as part of a super ministry. Mr Burke is seen as one of the government's best communicators and better able to challenge the opposition in relation to national security issues.
I think it's a much better idea getting someone from Labor's more conservative right faction to be the immigration minister than to have a left faction former immigration lawyer whose job it was to try to let anybody into the country, which is what Andrew Giles was. Claire O'Neill, don't know what she's necessarily done wrong. She's a good person, Claire O'Neill. She's smart. I've met her a few times. She's really interesting. But she's just become a victim of the very understandable perception that the whole thing was a total shambles.
Well, Home Affairs got dragged. She's a victim of having to front the press and explain what the hell was going on.
Yeah, that's right.
Like sometimes you're collateral in that way.
There's people running around all over town having just been let out by that High Court ruling.
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't a good look.
Margaret, thank you for texting us on the Duttons text line. Margaret tells us the Facebook live stream's back up and running. Well, that's good news. Hopefully that means things might be returning to normal, and Peppo might be able to read your texts in just a moment. We'll see if we can get that sorted out as well as we try and fire up the internet here. You know, it's a little slow starter.
Well, I don't know my password, so I'm going to have to get someone to come in and turn the thing on.
Sam will do that for you in a minute. Let's head out the road for
the Duvalacca's not working.
The Duvalacca. Let's head out on the road for the first time this morning. Check it with Jade Robin. Thanks to Duttons, family owned and operated for 75 years and easy to do business with. Morning to you, Jade.
Good morning, guys. It's probably just a little bit cold. It is 3 degrees out here, but it feels like -3 degrees. So I think that's probably why the computers are a little bit slow. But I'm bringing you the latest on the fire that ripped through an apartment at the back of the Oxford Hotel on O'Connell Street in North Adelaide over the weekend. A 37-year-old man will face court later today. Now, police arrested him and charged him with arson. And all we know about this man at this point in time is that he resides in North Adelaide. Whether it was at this apartment or at another address, we don't know. But, of course, being at court later today, we will definitely find out more about this case. But the fire happened on Saturday morning around 7 a.m. and firefighters were called back to the scene later that night because it reignited again. It was really that fierce. Video footage taken from the fire in the morning shows wild flames and smoke billowing from the pub that has caused $3 million in damage. Now, it took 50 firefighters to battle the blaze and bring it under control. Early on, it was communicated to them that there were 3 people inside and they could be trapped. But thank goodness that was not true and that nobody was injured in this fire. But Fire Corps investigators and SAPOL Eastern District detectives, they pretty quickly worked out that the fire was suspicious, and around 5:30 Saturday, detectives made their arrest of this 37-year-old man. Now, as you guys know, there's the beautiful heritage-listed pub. There is a big wall that separates the pub and this area out the back, which it used to be a bar called The Bank, and then now it is a block of apartments, and that is the area that has turned into an absolute mess. Now, the apartment's co-owned by North Adelaide businessman Walter Ventura. Now, he's a restaurateur in the North Adelaide area. He's overseas at the moment. Interestingly, 2 weeks ago, his house, he's got a mansion there in North Adelaide, it was targeted in a pretty violent rampage, and now this. But I'm sure we will learn a lot more about this latest incident. Not saying that they're linked, but we'll learn more about this latest incident when this 34-year-old man who was arrested faces court later today.
That's a great report, Jade. I had no idea about the attack on his house as well. Interesting.
Yeah, all right, we'll continue to follow that. SAPOL, we'll check in with them in about 15 minutes' time as well. Tom Wren is about to wander into the 5AA breakfast studio. I can see him out there just going through his warm-up. In the Gliderol Garage Door, setting strength, style and safety your home. Gliderol.com.au. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, boys. Winners and losers. Well, let's start with a positive, shall we? The Aussie women in particular are our winners. Jess Fox overnight, winning the kayak, the slalom. That's amazing. So she wins. Grace Brown in the time trial for the cycling, she wins as well. And that's on top, of course, as well as Ariane Titmus, and I can't wait to the fact that you're going to be chatting with her dad this morning, Steve, which is sensational. And the women's relay team, so 4 gold medals. Japan have just gone past us because they've just won a 4th gold medal. But we're right up there, and, the swimming is our one wood, there's no doubt. But, great headline on the front page of the Tizer today with our golden girl, Ariane Titmus. But a sensational start to the Olympics. And how about the Matildas overnight? 6-5 against Zambia.
God.
11 goals.
I'm a bit concerned about how many goals the US is going to put past the Matildas. I think it's going to be ugly.
Could be hairy there, couldn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be good at all. I just want a quick look, Rennie, at our AUKUS partnership, which we're doing all the heavy lifting on at the moment. So we've got 4 gold. The US has got 3. The UK's got 0. I mean, if you can't win a gold, can you build a nuclear submarine is my question.
Well, we need to wait for all the Ponzi sports to kick in, because the English are good at all the horse riding and stuff like that,
Yeah, that's
aren't
true.
they?
Yeah. They need some horse action.
Maybe a bit of, Brideshead Revisited style. Come on, chaps, rowing.
Some rowing.
Stroke,
Head of the river type stuff.
Head of the river.
Yeah.
Spooner regatta sort of stuff.
We are going great guns at the moment. I think 4 gold, 2 silver, and well done over the weekend. I mean, the men's relay team did really well. So that was a great performance there. Let's get to some football. We'll stay with the positive. Great win for Port Adelaide. I called that game on Friday night. They were gone midway through the second quarter. I thought they were cooked. But they found a way, and Jason Horne-Francis, his second half was superb after a pretty lacklustre first half. But that goal that he kicked with about 6 or 7 minutes to go, he's just made for the big occasion.
Carlton are lucky it wasn't a bigger margin. That's the best I've seen Port play all year.
Their second
half
was sensational. Yeah, they were great.
Watching it as a neutral too. Well, actually,
in light of that
watching
result,
it as somebody who wanted Geelong to win, Carlton to win. But when Port kicked all those points at the start of the third quarter, you could tell Carlton were cooked. You were watching Carlton just stopped.
Yeah.
Who's good, Rennie?
Hawthorn. They're good. I tell you what, and what's probably most galling, let's get into the losers, because the Crows are obviously big losers. 2 years ago, Hawthorn were miles behind in terms of the rebuild. Fast forward to now, they could win a flag. They could win a flag within the next couple of years. The way they're playing, they're young, they're exciting, they're dynamic. They made hard decisions. And look where they are.
That's the key. They made decisions that the Adelaide Football Club wouldn't in a million years. The Adelaide Football Club's not saying goodbye to a Brownlow medalist in Tom Mitchell. They're just not. They wouldn't. They're not saying goodbye to Jaeger O'Meara coming to the club. Big name. They're not willingly trading him out. They're not. It's just not in the club's DNA, and it's a mystery why. This is the club that had Malcolm Blight come in and win 2 premierships after making some of the most famously difficult decisions in recent footballing memory. But that's not been a legacy that's been adopted. It's been the exact opposite of that.
Probably the most damning criticism I saw online from someone who knows the club pretty well is they feel like the club right now, Adelaide, is Gold Coast with fans. They just exist.
Yeah.
7 years.
And you know what? Credit to the fans. 42,000 turned up yesterday. 42,000 people turned up to watch that. Melbourne had 16,000 to watch a do or die. Can we make the 8 clash? So I think you get it. There's a degree of comfort that comes with running a club that you're never in danger of not having fans or financial stability. I think there's a degree of comfort that comes with that.
And admittedly,
it's a sickness.
They did miss some players yesterday. Jordan Dawson, their key defenders down back, Nick Murray, Jordan Butts. But, I mean, they were on their home deck, 14 goals to 3 after quarter time. They were schooled.
Well, if not for those 2 late garbage time goals, it would have been the worst loss ever at Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, it was bad.
With not one goal scored since Joshua Shelley got one from a free in the second quarter.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the last goal of the game.
The other loser, I thought, from the weekend was Essendon. They are, for the last 20 years, the worst performing club in the AFL. They are a tease, and they're almost an embarrassment, the way they promise and deliver nothing. I'm staggered at how bad they are. George Russell's the other loser from overnight. He won the Grand Prix in Belgium, but his car was underweight, so he was disqualified.
Oh, no!
So, unlucky George.
How long after the race did that happen?
Not too long, but he's
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, so Oscar Piastri, who did finish third, came up to second, and Lewis Hamilton won the race as a result. So, yeah, bad result there for George Russell.
Yeah, you'd be a little disappointed in your engineers, I would have thought. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
Tom.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 15 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Woodings.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
South Australia's economy has been ranked number 1 in the nation by CommSec for the 3rd time in a row. CommSec's State of the States report shows SA topped the nation in 3 of the 8 key indicators, leading the statistics in jobs, housing and construction. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan.
This is not only good news about our economy performing strongly over the last 3 quarters. Of course, we've got huge amounts of defence work ramping up at Osborne, not far from the city, for the continuous naval shipbuilding, and there are other really strong prospects elsewhere across our economy.
An Australian cyclist remains in hospital after undergoing surgery after an accident during his event in the Paris Olympics. Clinton Maynard reports.
23-year-old Luke Plapp has been in hospital overnight here in Paris and he's undergone abdominal surgery. He was listed in a stable condition upon admission and has had his family and the Australian team doctor by his side. Plapp was competing in the individual road race time trial. The men's version of the event, Australian Grace Brown won gold in. The 32-kilometre course, which weaves through the streets of Paris, was wet and slippery because of rain. Plapp crashed his bike and slid under a metal barrier fence. He is a 2-time national time trial champion.
Olympic news with Tom Wren coming up shortly. Donald Trump has told a Bitcoin conference that he would champion cryptocurrency if he wins the US presidential election in November. He told the gathering in Nashville that he'd make the United States the crypto capital of the world. The BBC's David Willis reports from Washington.
Donald Trump hasn't always been a fan of cryptocurrency. During his time in the White House, he dismissed it as highly volatile and based on thin air. His conversion has come at a time when major crypto companies, executives and investors have been making big donations to his presidential election campaign. Vowing to ease regulatory oversight of the industry, Mr. Trump said Bitcoin was going to the moon, as he put it.
Nearly 3/4 of all disability providers are considering closing because of recent price changes. The National Disability Insurance Agency has placed a cap on price growth. A survey conducted by peak body NDS shows hundreds of providers they won't be able to continue operating amid soaring costs. The nation's golden girls in the pool have been immortalised on postage stamps. Australia Post is rolling out 2 designs. One features the 4x100 metre relay team with their Olympic gold medals. The other stars Ariane Titmus on her own. Time for sports news and Tom Wren. Have you ever been on a stamp?
No, I haven't, and not anytime soon. I wouldn't have thought with my exploits, Graham. But hopefully, maybe we'll both get there one day together.
Oh, don't Don't hold your breath.
Let's start with a little bit of Olympic news and a great result overnight for Australia. We're sitting in second spot on the medal table. That's after 4 gold medals have already been won after a brilliant effort overnight. Jess Fox winning the slalom gold in the kayak event. And Grace Brown also took out gold in the women's road time trial event with the cycling. Well, it's back to the drawing board for Adelaide after being humbled by a whopping 66 points at home against Hawthorn. The Crows led by a goal at quarter time but was smashed after that, conceding 14 goals whilst booting only 3 themselves. Coach Matthew Nick says he's disappointed by what his players put on the park.
Not surprised at all about what came at us. Disappointed that we weren't able to, I guess, sustain the effort we had through that first quarter.
The Bulldogs are now inside the top 8 meantime, following a stunning 39-point win against the ladder leaders Sydney at the SCG, while Collingwood's hopes of playing finals remain alive after taking care of Richmond by 26 points at the MCG. And incredible scenes at the Belgian Grand Prix this morning after George Russell won the race but was then disqualified, and that was because his car was underweight. It means the race was won instead by Lewis Hamilton, while Aussie Oscar Piastri came second. Fellow Aussie Dan Ricciardo finished 10th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Mostly sunny, 15 today. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 16. Wednesday, partly cloudy, 17. Thursday, sunny, 18. Right now, it's 5. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 7. Police and weather coming up very shortly. Tim Lester in the US on the US response to the threat of expanding tensions in the Middle East. We'll get the US wrap from Tim Lester very, very shortly. Then after 7 o'clock today, Stacey Lee will take us through state politics, but she might even have a little bit to say, I suspect, knowing Stacey, about the federal cabinet reshuffle yesterday, which saw a couple of portfolios, major portfolios in immigration and home affairs, handed to Tony Burke. What does it say about the factional balance in the Federal Labor Party? What does it say about the future of policy direction of those portfolio areas? We'll find out with Stacey after 7:30. Jade's out on the road and John Schuman shortly. But first, we've been looking forward to this. I think ever since she started the gold rush for Australia over the weekend, beating an American icon. And I think we understate in Australia how significant that story is in North America. Ariane Titmus winning gold for Australia in the pool. Yet again, she's swimming again this morning. Her father, Steve Titmus, watching it all from Paris and joining us on 5AA Breakfast. Steve, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, guys. My voice is slowly, ever so slowly, coming back after cheering all last night, so I apologise for that. But, guys, lovely to talk to you. And, boy, we're still sort of starting to come to grips with the enormity of last night's victory. But wonderful to talk to you this morning.
Steve, thanks so much for making the time, mate. I'm sure you're being absolutely inundated by requests from all over Australia. But can you give us a sense, as a father, you must just feel like you're walking on a cloud, mate.
Oh, look, it's extraordinary. Last night, before the start of that 400-metre final, Robin and Mia, Arnie's sister, we sat down and we sort of talked a little bit about, the fact that what if we hadn't moved from Tassie and gone to Queensland, where there was better coaching opportunities and, of course, a lot more competition. We may never have seen Ariane swim at an Olympic game. So we reminisced a lot last night about the 10-odd years ago when we decided as a family to move from Tassie to Queensland. And I also had flashbacks, and I got my phone out and looked at my old photographs from when we first took Ariane to swimming lessons many, many years ago when she was about 6 months old. And so that's what happened last night before the 400. We thought a lot about the past and looked up into the incredible stadium where the swimming's being held and thought, wow, whoever ever thought in our wildest dreams would we ever have a daughter being a dual Olympic champion and the number one in the world.
There's a line in the Advertiser this morning that's saying she's now in the company of the greatest swimmers ever to have done it in this country. She's got an incredibly sort of calm demeanour as she enters the pool deck. Steve, does she get that from you or her mother?
Oh, mate, one would probably think she gets a determination from her mother. But look, the two of us, we are very much, we very much plan a lot of our stuff. We treat life, if you like, with the fact that, you know, you don't just want things to happen by accident. Both Robin and I came from sporting backgrounds. She was a national sprint athletics champion many, many moons ago, and I came from a cricketing background, having played with David Byrne and Ricky Ponting in Tasmania. So we both got the whole sporting aspect, if you like, of what life was all about. But she is a very smart girl. She's got an incredibly calm demeanour about her, and I know her teammates and the media and everybody is saying at the moment how relaxed she is, and she is. And you know, when she spoke to us after she won the other night, she knew the enormity of the whole country expecting her to win and having the weight of the entire country on her shoulders. But she said that, you know, she felt the weight was lifted, and that, you know, she could now really enjoy and soak up the entire atmosphere of the enormity of what these Olympic Games are.
You may not be aware of this, Steve, but there's an online debate going on amongst Tasmanians at the moment about who the greatest sporting Tasmanian of all time is, and you mentioned Ariane and Ricky Ponting seems to be who the debates come down to right now. That may change over the course of the Games. It might not be a debate at all. I mentioned there's a part of this, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but I'm not sure our listeners are, the degree to which, in a sporting sense, Ariane is a villain in North America, because she's repeatedly beaten their golden girl in Katie Ledecky. And it's all good-natured. It's sporting rivalry sort of stuff. But does some of that filter through to you? Like that she's the giant slayer for them?
I know. Do you know what, though? We were asked that very question last night. And the Americans, believe it or not, are the friendliest people to us as the Titmus family as any other nation that there is. And I think Thorpe was the one that has also said that everybody in the world loves Ariane Titmus except Katie Ledecky and Summer McIntosh. was what Thorpe's words were. So, you know, but the Americans are so friendly and nice to us. And last night, you know, we were surrounded by Americans in the grandstands last night, and when Ariane won, you know, they all said, look, congratulations, absolutely fantastic. She's the best swimmer on the night, and she's had Katie's measure now for a couple of years, and she got Summer's measure at the moment as well. So, you know, it's and Katie and Arnie are both, you know, I don't think they call each other rivals. They call each other friends, and they just really enjoy, and we enjoy it as well as a family to see her and Katie and Summer race each other. You know, these are, you know, Katie Ledecky, the greatest swimmer of all time, and then here's Arnie, who's now able to defeat her in the pool, and to see those two swimmers in the pool race together is really quite extraordinary. Katie walked past me last night. She was about 3 feet away, and I looked at her, and this is really weird, but I looked at her and I thought, there is an absolute superstar, and then my daughter, who is literally 2 feet away, she's just my daughter.
Yeah,
you don't sort of think, oh, you know, there's an absolute superstar, and there's my daughter who's at the same level as what she's at. However you go, hang on a bit, that's my bub there, and it's such a weird feeling that because you obviously know your children so well, that you find it's actually quite difficult to put them up on this massive pedestal and say that you know you've got a daughter who's an absolute idol. It's quite a surreal feeling, really.
Oh, it must just be the most amazing feeling, Steve. Were you with Arnie when she was in camp in Perpignan, or have you just got there for the competition?
No. So we arrived. We went on a cruise to the Med for a few days, and then we arrived in Paris 2 days before competition got underway. We haven't actually. Last night when she finished the race and we had the big hug at the end, that was the first time we'd had physical contact with her in 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was wondering. It's a long time since you've seen her.
Yeah, absolutely. We've only had FaceTime contact a couple of times a day, and sometimes only once a day for about 6 weeks. So last night was a great moment for the whole family when Mia was there and Robin and I were able to give Arnie a big hug, which was, you know, the first time in 6 weeks, and that was a fabulous moment. And Arnie said to us, the funny part was she said, gee, stop squeezing me so hard, it hurts.
How many interviews do you reckon you've done, Steve?
Oh, mate, I've done probably about 25, probably about the same number that I've done when she won back in Tokyo. But the good news is that my voice is coming back, and I'm about to do Sunrise as well with Barrett. So hopefully I hang in there.
No, you'll be right. You're a star. Hey, Steve, you don't remember a bloke by the name of Graham Goodings when you worked in the newsroom in Tasmania, do
mate,
you?
I do. Mate, I remember Graham exceptionally well because I was a little toddler. I think I was about 14 or 15 years of age as what they called back then a broadcast operator. And that was a person who used to splice together the tape to put together the commercials. So I used to do that, and Graham was the newsreader at Channel 9 down in Tassie back then. And then, of course, years later, I then went to work in the sports department at Channel 7 in Adelaide. And, of course, Graham Goodings was the newsreader at Channel 7. And then, hey, Will, look where we are today.
Yeah, funny. Well, you know what? You wouldn't know this, Steve. He's actually reading the news for us this morning as well. He's out in the news booth now.
Mate, the beautiful dulcet tones of Graham Goodings could never be mistaken.
That's
Hey, say hello to him. Say hello to him for me.
Will do. Good on you, Steve. Congratulations again to you, mate.
Steve.
Thanks for chatting with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Appreciate it.
What a cracking bloke.
Steve Tipper. Yeah, he absolutely is.
You know what he said about you? Just look at your daughter and think, that's my daughter. I am also one of the greatest swimmers in the history of swimming.
Who she beats all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
He was too modest to say that.
Yeah.
But you know, I was just thinking about it as a parent. I kind of get there's almost nothing you'd want to do 25 interviews on, but how good one of your kids is probably the easiest thing. Don't you think?
Exactly.
You know, there's no matter how much you care about any subject, by the 24th time we get the same questions, you'd think, oh, God. But
but as a parent,
when it's like, how good's your child?
You'd be stopping people in the street to tell them that you aren't his dad. That's terrific.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Christine, warm up, put the heater on. -1 in Lobethal, Christine tells us on the Duttons text line this morning.
We got a photo at the very start of the show from one of our listeners in the Barossa, Caroline in Greenock, -3. -0.3.
Yikes. It is cold out there.
It is.
Duttons, third-generation family-owned dealership with 70 years' experience and easy to do business with. You got access to the texts. Another breaking news.
I do. Quite a few messages of praise for that excellent chat with Steve then. A bit of consternation about the Matildas, about how poorly they've gone, managing to scrape that 6-5 victory that would have had them completely rolled out of the games only 2 matches in if they hadn't got up against Zambia. And a lot of comment, Will, about your spray last night. We should cut some of that up and play it.
No, I don't think we have it. I think it's gone.
For those of you who are listening to Will's call, I didn't hear it because I had totally lost interest in football by 3/4 time in that match. I did the televisual equivalent of the walkout and just turned it off.
I would have too, but I was on the clock.
Started listening to music. Mark from Para Hills says, Crows, you're pathetic. Rip them out and start again. I'm really not sure about Nick's now. It's been too long without results. One here from another Mark. Will, your blow-up was superb. It's time now for Tim Silvers to act. Will Day slaughtered us yesterday. Another recruiting blunder. When's something I feel going to change? For God's sake, surely they need to get Neil Barm in to sort this show out. That's me just trying to not say the S word.
The live beeping. That was good.
Live beeping.
Beep. -2.6 at Mount Torrens, says Louise. Oh, my goodness. It's one of those mornings. All right. Well, Louise, the same advice for you. Double doona. We'll put the heater on. In the meantime, we're going to check traffic. We'll have the Weather Bureau with the latest very shortly. Thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. Waterloo Corner, breaking down truck on the north-south motorway near Port Wakefield Road. Best Watermate at Ashford this morning. Anzac Highway in Maple Avenue, speeds at 40. That's just near the barracks there. Slow for works at St Peters, Paynham Road near Ann Street. Good cameras this morning. Airport Road, Brooklyn Park, and Military Road at West Beach. Book your Asia getaway at Flight Centre and save up to 50%. Escape to Phuket for 8 nights from just $865 for 2. Hurry, ends soon. Book with Flight Centre today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Respiratory syncytial virus, known as RSV, is a contagious virus and the cause of respiratory disease among the elderly. Vaccines to fight the disease have been approved overseas, but Adelaide's Fusion Clinical Research is holding a trial to find a remedy for Australia. If you're over 60 and want to take part, contact Fusion on 7077 6996 or go to fusiontrials.com.au. you will be reimbursed for your time.
The Posture Care Chair Company has moved to a new home at 107 Sturt Street between King William Street and Whitmore Square. Discover our tailor-made chairs crafted right here in Adelaide with our patented zero-gravity design. And say goodbye to all comfort complaints. Celebrate our grand opening with us and save up to $1,000 on your brand new tailor-made recliner chair, plus complimentary express build, plus free delivery. Come on in and visit our new place, the Posture Care Chair Company. T's and C's apply.
Paint Professionals turned the job around so quickly from the initial quotation straight through to completion.
Now is the perfect time to call Paint Professionals and receive a professional colour consultation valued at up to $250. Yours free if you decide to paint your entire house inside or out, getting ready for sale, or giving your home a new lease of life. Make it a great experience. Call Paint Professionals for this limited offer. T's and C's apply. paintprofessionals.com.au.
She's been by your side from the beginning. You've raised a family together, supported one another's dreams, and when things got tough, you got through it together. So this anniversary or birthday, express your gratitude and love with a handmade statement jewellery piece from Bell & Brunt, a family-owned custom jeweller with over a century of experience. Celebrate your partner with Bell & Brunt, James Place, City. Visit bellandbrunt.com.au. Crafted for generations.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
10 to 7, off to the US in a moment. First, let's head to the Weather Bureau. Chris Kent joins us. Chris, we're getting a lot of reports. Cold start to this Monday morning. That's not going to be newsworthy to anyone. Take us through the next couple of days, though.
Yeah, it has been a cool start. We've recorded 0.4 degrees up at Parafield this morning, and likely around the northern parts of the city being quite cool. Even at Edinburgh, it's 0.9, 2.7 recorded in the city. Down the southern suburbs, though, 4.4, a bit warmer down at Noarlunga. So that's been a cool start. Likely to be a little bit of frost on the car this morning when you wake up, but there's nice and sunny conditions expected today. 15 degrees for a maximum. And that's across the board, up in the hills, looking at 13 degrees at Mount Barker. But for the rest of the week, looking pretty dry. We're expecting temperatures to slowly increase a little bit. And those frosty mornings, it'll still probably be a bit cool coming this week, but probably not going to be as cold as those winds tend more northerly as we head into the week. So, like I say, yeah, pretty dry week ahead. Maybe a shower or so around later this week from around Friday and possibly over the weekend.
Rug up, folks. That's it in a nutshell. Rug up.
Good on you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Let's head to Sapol, Senior Constable Scott James on the line. Scott, there's been a car fire at Myrtlebank.
Yeah, that's right. So this one happened just after 4 a.m. Monday the 29th of July this morning. Fire crews were called to Spence Avenue at Myrtlebank after reports of vehicles engulfed in flames. MFS crews attended and began working on the blaze, which was brought under control, but the vehicle, which was a white Holden hatchback, had been completely destroyed by the fire. When police arrived, there was also no one with the vehicle and no one to be seen in the area. Cause of the fire is undetermined at this stage. However, investigations are continuing by Eastern District Police, and we're just asking that anyone who may have any information or CCTV just to assist with the investigation to contact Crime Stoppers.
And also, Scott, a bloke's been reported for drink driving in Nailsworth.
Yeah, so this one was just before 11:30 p.m. Last night. Patrols spotted a Mazda sedan travelling at speed on Main North Road at Nailsworth. The vehicle was stopped a short distance away by patrols and the driver was spoken to. He was submitted to a breath test where he returned a reading of 0.155, more than 3 times the legal limit. The 42-year-old driver, he was reported for drink driving. His vehicle was impounded and he was issued with a 12-month loss of licence.
One a day at the moment, isn't it? Crazy. Good stuff. Senior Constable Scott James there from Sapol.
All right, 6 to 7. Let's head to the US. Tim Lester is in our 7 News US Bureau, where the news cycle in the US, Tim, has been a lot over the weekend about how to try and contain this war in the Middle East to Israel, with a real threat that it's going to spill into Lebanon. Good morning to you. Just set the scene for our listeners, Tim.
This is centering particularly around a rocket strike from, apparently the rocket coming from inside Lebanon over that border into the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights, tragically striking a soccer pitch as teenagers played a soccer game there, killing 12, 20 more or so wounded in this attack, infuriating the Israelis, terrifying the local community. Hezbollah, the Lebanon-based Iranian-backed terror group, has denied any responsibility. Well, now the US Secretary of State says they're convinced that Hezbollah, in fact, did fire the rocket, though probably did not intend to hit a soccer pitch, maybe had some other target in mind, but it was misguided. This has inflamed, obviously, tensions along a border that's always been pretty tense. Now there's a real fear that it could become a second front for Israel as it still tries to prosecute the war in Gaza. So a great deal of diplomatic effort now to try and calm things, though no one's sure whether it'll be enough.
The political sort of distraction, I guess, in Washington, you could almost say instability over the last month, assassination attempt on Trump, but then most dramatically, in a sort of ongoing sense, the fact that Biden said he's not running, but he's been sick, he's been absent. He had that typically meandering address to the nation the other night. Do you think the Republicans are right, Tim, when they say that groups like Hezbollah might be trying this on, knowing that the US is massively distracted at the moment?
Well, I think always there are going to be calculations during election campaigns by foreign bodies who joust with the US in that way, that they'll have their mind elsewhere, all the more so now because the political events of the last month here have been just remarkable. They've utterly transformed this election campaign, and Americans, and certainly those involved in the campaign and the White House itself, are trying to get a grip on what's going on. So is there a level of distraction? Yes. And will groups who oppose the US around the world try to flex that? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's going to be pretty unnerving to see how it pans out over the coming days. Tim Lester there for 7 News in the US Bureau. Thanks for that, mate.
Lots of reports of the cold still coming through. Michelle in Elizabeth Park says, fresh by way of understatement, where it's 1.8 degrees right now. The apparent temperature minus 2.2. Andy in Henley Beach on the other side of town has called in. Morning to you, Andy.
Morning, chaps. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate.
All right, your weatherman needs to go back to weather school. He came on and says, there's been a cool start to the morning. Shut up. Cool.
Recalibrate
cool
us, Andy. What's actually cold?
It's cold enough to snap the bollocks off a brass monkey.
Mate, with your pedigree, I thought you'd be used to this kind of weather.
Give me peace. I got up this morning and got in my van at 6 o'clock, 3 degrees, put the window wipers on. Aye. Not happy, Jan.
It's not what you ordered coming to Australia. Thank you, Andy.
What about Clarkey, though? Clarkey's a regular listener, but he lives in Thailand.
Rubbing it in. Clarkey's
texted on the Dutton's text line saying, well, here in Bangkok, it's 28 degrees and it's 4:19 a.m.
Sent her a picture, too. It is a spectacular skyline back in Bangkok. Half your luck, Clarkey. Looks unbelievable. Swimming pools down below, just begging to be used. 28 degrees at 4:19 a.m. That sounds like fun.
Unbelievable. Rob, the very funny Rob, says, however bad the Crows game was, it wasn't as bad as the opening ceremony.
Oh, yeah, what was that about? What was going on there?
Well, the French are sort of, famous for a lot of things. Surrealism.
Yeah, it was
existentialism.
It was surreal, all right. I wonder what planet I was on.
Did you get up for it?
No, I put a little bit on the next morning. I thought I'd have a quick look because I was interested in how they'd use. I liked the idea of using the boats and not having it in a stadium because we've seen that 1,000 times. So full credit for trying something different, but I didn't Let's pull it politely. I lost the thread of the narrative.
Yeah, I still don't understand what the guy, the nude man, painted light blue, was doing. Was he some sort of god? He was some French Celtic god.
Oh yeah, Dionysus or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of Christians,
Dionysus was a Greek god, I think. But
yeah, he was.
Anyway,
a lot of Christians are understandably miffed by the depiction of the Last Supper featuring drag queens and what have you.
Can we just put an all points bulletin out for the arts community? There is no longer anything edgy about taking the mickey out of Christianity. It's been done. It's all been... I get arts is meant to be edgy and, challenging thought. Every version of mocking Christianity's been done.
They only pick one religion, though, don't they?
Oh, well, the other ones, they might come to grief.
Well, some of them don't have that much of a sense of humour. Just ask the former editors of Charlie Hebdo magazine.
5AA News Time. We'll take you through some of the big stories of the morning next.
Her mum's on the phone while she's on her skates.
Careful, honey, don't get too close to the road.
She rides from the top of the driveway to test how fast she can go. And suddenly...
Wait, stop!
She's testing your brakes too. Stop and take time to ensure your car stops in time and the brakes are all you hit. Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
Starring Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, The Gay Divorcee was nominated for Best Picture at the 1934 Academy Awards. See it at the Capri Theatre August 4, screening at 3 p.m. Plus, live on stage prior to the movie, Michael Griffiths plays Cole Porter from 2 p.m. with the bar open from 1. Book your tickets now for this iconic comedy romance. The Gay Divorcee, plus Michael Griffiths plays Cole Porter. August 4 at the Capri Theatre. Tickets from $15 at capri.org.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
The latest local, national and international news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 15 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
Israel's Air Force says it struck targets in Lebanon in retaliation for a Hezbollah strike which killed 12 children and young adults. The rockets hit the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. The IDF says it's now attacked 7 Hezbollah targets. It's not known if there were any casualties. Earlier, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he was cutting short his visit to the USA.
Since I was updated about the disaster, I've been holding continuous security consultations, and I've directed that our return to Israel be brought forward. As soon as I arrive, I will immediately convene the Security Cabinet. I can say that the State of Israel will not let this pass in silence. We will not overlook this.
Audio thanks to the BBC. Hezbollah has denied any involvement. South Australia's economy has been ranked number 1 in the nation by CommSec for the 3rd time in a row. CommSec's State of the States report shows SA topped the nation in 3 of the 8 key indicators, including the statistics in jobs, housing and construction. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan.
This is not only good news about our economy performing strongly over the last 3 quarters. Of course, we've got huge amounts of defence work ramping up at Osborne, not far from the city, for the continuous naval shipbuilding, and there are other really strong prospects elsewhere across our economy.
The Prime Minister has reshuffled his front bench team with 2 senior ministers pushed into different roles. Federal Politics Editor Michael Packey.
As expected, Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill and Immigration Minister Andrew Giles have been dumped from their positions. The federal government has been under intense scrutiny over their handling of both portfolios, which has seen high-risk asylum seekers allowed into the community. Ms O'Neill remains in Cabinet but has been moved into the housing role, while Mr Giles takes on skills and training. Tony Burke moves away from the employment portfolio and takes on both Home Affairs and Immigration as part of a super ministry. Mr Burke is seen as one of the government's best communicators and better able to challenge the opposition in relation to national security issues.
A man's been caught drink driving at Nailsworth last night. Senior Constable Scott James says he was spotted speeding on Main North Road.
The vehicle was stopped a short distance away by patrols and the driver was spoken to. He was submitted to a breath test where he returned a reading of 0.155, more than 3 times the legal limit. The 42-year-old driver, he was reported for drink driving, his vehicle was impounded, and he was issued with a 12-month loss of licence.
A man will face court today charged with arson after a fire in a building containing the historic Oxford Hotel in North Adelaide. It took dozens of firefighters to bring the blaze under control, which caused an estimated $3 million damage. The 37-year-old man was arrested about 12 hours after the fire broke out. With a crackdown on drug importations and illegal tobacco, organised crime gangs have reportedly turned their attention to grassroots sport. Sport Integrity Australia has found the increase in live streaming of grade matches, even junior games, is making codes vulnerable to illicit offshore betting markets. And now turning to 5AA Sport, good morning again to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning as well to you, Graham. Australia has had another golden night after Jessica Fox won the K1 final event in the slalom. She qualified 8th fastest but put in a glorious final performance, and it was all down to Germany's Ricarda Funk to try to beat her.
Needs to find some time here where there's not much time to be found as she gets a touch, and that will put paid to her chances. So Jessica Fox is the Olympic champion.
Amazing stuff. Audio there thanks to 9 Radio. Grace Brown also won gold on her bike in the time trial event on the road. Those 2 gold medals came after Ariane Titmus won the 400-metre freestyle gold medal. Her father Steve spoke with David and Will on 5AA Breakfast and says she's worked incredibly hard.
She knew the enormity of the whole country expecting her to win and having the weight of the entire country on her shoulders, but she said that, she felt the weight was lifted and that, she could now really enjoy and soak up the entire atmosphere of the enormity of what these Olympic Games are.
So the Aussies now have 4 gold medals and the Matildas have got their campaign back on track after an incredible match against Zambia in the soccer, outlasting them 6-5. Let's go to football, and the Crows will recover today following a disappointing 66-point loss at home against Hawthorn. The result relegates the side into 15th place while the Power remain in 7th despite their win on Friday night. The Bulldogs are now inside the top 8 after a 3rd straight win against Sydney, while Collingwood is still a chance to make the finals after beating Richmond by 26 points. And in some motorsport, Lewis Hamilton has won the Belgian Grand Prix after George Russell was disqualified. He finished first, but his car was underweight. That meant Aussie Oscar Piastri finished in 2nd place. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there at Welland, a car v truck at Grange Road near Hallett Boulevard. Waterloo Corner, broken down truck there, the north-south motorway near Port Wakefield Road. Ashford, a burst Watermain, Anzac Hone in Maple Avenue, just near the barracks there, speeds at 40 k's. And got a camera this morning, East Terrace at Henley Beach. Quitting smoking is hard, but so is heart disease, emphysema and mouth cancer. Choose your hard and choose to give up for good. Visit health.gov.au/give up for good. This message is brought to you by the Australian Government, Canberra. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Mostly sunny 15 today, tomorrow mostly sunny 16, Wednesday partly cloudy 17, and Thursday sunny and 17 degrees. It's currently 5. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Transform your outdoor space and turn it into a great year-round entertainment area with an opening and closing roof from Louver House. Our Louver House roof will let in the perfect combination of airflow and sunlight, so you can entertain no matter the weather. Best of all, they're manufactured right here in SA with rain sensors and options like LED lighting. Find out more with a free design measure and quote. See the light with Louver House. louverhouse.com.au.
Her mum's on the phone while she's on her skates.
Careful, honey. Don't get too close to the road. Wait! Stop!
Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 after 7, good morning to you. Welcome to Monday on 5AA Breakfast, the 29th of July. Now the second best sporting nation on earth.
Japan.
Doesn't sound as good as it did an hour ago.
Well, there's another 10 days to go.
Exactly right.
Although we always start well. And then
it depends when the swimming happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. But it gives us something to talk about other than AFL.
Well, which is excellent for half the town anyway. I think the other half wants us to do wall-to-wall AFL coverage. We will.
That's right.
We will be chatting with Rowie at 6:25 this morning.
Sam Daddo's very keen for us to talk about AFL all morning.
He's loving the footy at the moment, and indeed, I think there'll be a lot of people tuning into the sports show, love or loath, to have their say tonight. Rowie and Timmy G is back, so looking forward to that, and our chat with Rowie coming up very shortly.
Tim's back and so are Port.
Yeah, Jade Robran this hour as well. Stacey Lee will talk politics with. The opening ceremony might be a couple of days old now, but it's certainly fresh in the memory of our listeners. I tell you what, there's some scathing reviews coming through on the Dutton's text line. There's a couple positive, but generally it's not great.
Only one positive that I can see. Overwhelmingly, people are saying that they thought it was a disgrace. Rob says fat blokes wearing dresses to dress as women and mock Christianity. So brave, so proud. Another one here saying the opening ceremony was a disgrace. My God, it was like a high school techno party featuring a girl with a beard. Andrew says Olympics and mocking faith. The arts have always had their hands out for free money, then mock Christian faith and values, biting the hand that feeds them. Peter Gers bleats the loudest on this. What's he done to cop a bit of a drive-by?
I'm not aware what Peter's done. Big supporter of the arts, of course.
Yeah. But no real bouquets for it. Although the cauldron bit was good.
The cauldron looked great. Eiffel Tower's a terrific backdrop.
Pretty hard to stuff that up, isn't it? Having the Eiffel Tower up your sleeve.
Whilst I liked the conceptually the idea of the boats, and I mentioned before I liked how they did something different, it kind of... The Parade of Nations felt a little bit diminished, I thought. Certainly, there'd be the odd nation that was tucked up against on the, the back end of a boat.
On the barge.
Yeah. It's some weird bedfellows too, with people sharing boats from different regions in the world. It was all very peculiar. But yeah, as you said, I think quite rightfully, all very French. Now, on this Monday morning, some good news for the South Australian economy. This may surprise some people. South Australia has the nation's top performing economy for the third consecutive time, according to the CommSec State of the States report, edging out Western Australia on this occasion. So we were the first time ever, just a bit of a history lesson, number one in the report's 15-year history in January of this year. So now 3 times in a row. The nation's strongest jobs market is in South Australia. Now, I'll give you a bit of context around this in a moment. SA trails the nation, leading ACT on real economic growth. The downside, and I think this is a big one for the average Joe in this report, Adelaide's posted the biggest lift in CPI and inflation. We are copping inflation worse here than anywhere else in the country. So headline economic data, relatively speaking, is good. The thing about CommSec State of the States is we're not suddenly a booming economy that's going gangbusters better than Western Australia.
It's all relative.
It's relative to performance, historical performance. So we are doing better than we have done, and we're doing better than we have done by a big enough margin that we're outpacing the other states on that metric. Right, so relative to our historical performance, we're doing... Look, it's still good news. I wonder how much of it is good news for us and how much of it puts in perspective how much the rest of the country is struggling as well.
Well, I'd love to hear from people running a business at the moment. We've got a breaking at 8. Actually, we'll probably do it tomorrow now because I want to talk to the people who run this business. But it's about a business that's a really beloved regional business that's cutting hours, and one of the reasons they're doing it is that the latest round of wage increases, even though they're relatively modest, for small to medium businesses, it's actually pushing people into a higher payroll tax bracket, meaning that suddenly they've got to stump up an extra 25 grand a year to the state government because wage rises are pushing them over the $1.5 million payroll tax.
This is
threshold.
for payroll tax. Sorry, I get you. Right.
Yeah. So there's all these different factors when you set that against your power bills, which are just out of control. I just don't know how people, particularly in retail and hospitality, are going to keep the show on the road.
Let's have a listen to the South Australian Treasurer, Stephen Mulligan.
This is not only good news about our economy performing strongly over the last 3 quarters. Of course, we've got huge amounts of defence work ramping up at Osborne, not far from the city, for the continuous naval shipbuilding, and there are other really strong prospects elsewhere across our economy.
As we discussed on Friday, the Prime Minister on Sunday announced a cabinet reshuffle federally.
A team that is united, a team that is ambitious, a team that is absolutely focused on continuing to deliver and work for Australia.
Not a lot of surprises here. Andrew Giles was moved out of immigration. Claire O'Neill was removed from Home Affairs. Now, essentially, they're the two ministers that were the front-facing members of the government when it came to the immigration crisis and the scandal that engulfed the country for much of the Albanese term. Now, Tony Burke has been put in charge of both those things, formerly in charge of employment workplace relations. He's doing Home Affairs and immigration now, significant as a member of the right faction as well, more of a conservative voice, someone who's done immigration before. He held that portfolio back in 2013. Claire O'Neill is now housing and homelessness. Still a hugely important job. Housing was one of the key promises of this government, alleviating the housing crisis. They've promised to build millions of homes. I don't think there's anyone alive that thinks they're actually going to hit that target now. It's just not happening, but that's a huge portfolio responsibility. Andrew Giles has been given skills and training, which actually sits outside of cabinet, so that's a massive demotion.
Yeah, he's been totally shafted.
The coalition will call that a scalp.
As we said last week, though, I reckon, the immigration thing, sure, it's been a shambles. And on the basis of even the treatment of the law-abiding, tax-paying people of Scotland here in South Australia, I reckon that was always reason enough to give Giles the chop. But the biggest issue in Australia in the cost of living sense is power bills. Why is Bowen just coasting along? I've got a bee in my bonnet about that guy. But I think a lot of our listeners have too.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things where... What was that internet phenomenon? We did it on air where you looked at a dress and some people thought it was blue and some people thought it was gold, whatever it was, and both sides swore they were right. I think that's how, in politics, people see Chris Bowen. I think everyone in the Labor Party thinks this guy's flying the flag for climate responsible policy. He's taking them to him on nuclear. Like, I think people in the movement say this guy's dominating, where people outside are opening up their envelope with a power bill in it say... What exactly is our energy minister doing? Or he's posting memes about three-eyed fish on his Twitter account.
Correct. Those ads were a bit naff that the Libs ran at the last election. It won't be easy under Albanese. But that really is the one question Albo doesn't want people to ask themselves ahead of polling day. Because if you sit and think, go back and look at your bank statements from 3 years ago and look at the state of your mortgage payments. If you compare your mortgage payment, I know there's all sorts of international factors that do come into it to a degree, but, the story I just told before, I was going to scoop myself out of tomorrow's Breaking at 8 if I'm not careful, but businesses that are just cutting hours as a result of pay rises that are making their tax bill go up so much. All of these things, does anyone feel financially better off now than they did 3 years ago?
Well, no, I don't think there's any measure by which you can say anyone is.
Not anybody. No. Not anybody. And it's, unless you're in the mega rich category, everyone's feeling the pinch. So, I think that the cosmetics of immigration doesn't really affect anyone's day-to-day that much.
No. I think the big rubber hits the road moment for the government is going to come very shortly. It might come as soon as this week when the CPI figures come out, I think, on Wednesday. Because if our rates go up following a federal budget that we were assured was the inflation-fighting budget.
Was it?
So much so that, there was some question about, were they fudging the figures a bit? Not fudging them in terms of lying about them, but was it an artificial manipulation of CPI to try and get it down so they could claim a political victory? Like, if even that hasn't worked, there's going to be, I think, massive political ramifications for the federal government if we see another Reserve Bank interest rate rise.
Yeah. Hey, quite a few texts from people saying that the Christians... have got the wrong end of the stick about the opening ceremony and that it wasn't meant to be the Last Supper, even though a lot of people clearly thought it was the Last Supper. One here saying the reference at the opening ceremony is not the Last Supper by Da Vinci, but I'll try to pronounce this, Jan Hammerns van Bijilt's The Feast of the Gods, 1653. Which was the Olympian gods celebrating.
Yeah, this is Dionysus that I mentioned earlier.
You were right. It was Dionysus. Thetis and Peleus getting married with Apollo crowned at the centre of the table, not Jesus Christ. And your man, Will, Dionysus, in the foreground. Damien in Oakden as well says the ceremony had nothing to do with mocking Christianity. It was depicting the feast of Dionysus.
Which actually, if that's I don't know what's I haven't heard the organisers say one or the other. Maybe they have. It actually makes all the world in the... I'm no expert in this area, but Dionysus was kind of the god of partying and revelry and sort of...
Wine and...
being into alternative kind of stuff.
Anything goes.
Anything goes is Dionysus' way.
Allez les bons temps rolleurs. Let the good times roll.
Which is what that image was depicting. So
Yes.
if that's what it was doing, it was a faithful recreation. But I don't know. I haven't actually heard them say definitively one way or the other what the inspiration for it was. But it certainly did upset people. Thank you so much for those excellent Duttons texts. Duttons, a third-generation family-owned dealership with 70 years' experience. Duttons, easy to do business with. We've got Jesse Moore's father coming up. Jesse Moore, you might recall, qualified as the first South Australian male gymnast ever to the Olympics. Did so.
We had him on the show.
We had him on the show.
That was his first interview about 3 months ago.
3 months ago. He just competed in New Zealand. It was the last event. He had to finish at a certain point in that event to qualify for the Olympics. He did. He's gone to the Olympics, and now he's qualified for the final that's going to take place on Thursday. We're going to be chatting with his dad a little bit later in the morning on his history-making son. That's coming up. First traffic. Luva House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. At Welland, Carvey Truck Grange Road near Hallett Boulevard. Waterloo Corner has a broken down truck to look out for this morning. The north-south motorway near Port Wakefield Road. And a Burst Watermate at Ashford, Anzac Hone and Maple Avenue. Speeds at 40 k's there. Early morning cameras, Halsey Road, Elizabeth East and Nanton Streets at Hindmarsh. Start your next adventure with Subaru with free Rojo and CTP. 5 years roadside assist and a fuel voucher on selected models. Ends July 31. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
David Spears' plan now cancelled. Second trip to Scotland for another cousin's wedding. Mr. Spears invited challengers to come and get him. And I sit back and ask myself, what is it about the Liberal Party in South Australia that makes them, well, hopeless? It's the only word you can use.
Matthew Pantelis.
David Spears' decision, a massive own goal. Somehow he doesn't see that.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
This housing crisis is not going anywhere soon. But if you're a landlord and you're looking to sell, you have the power to make a big difference. Get in touch with McGain Real Estate. They can help you sell your property to another landlord. It means your awesome tenants will have somewhere to live. Their kids can go to the same school and have a place to call home. You have the power to make a difference, and McGain can help you make it. McGain.com.au.
The Posture Care Chair Company has moved to a new home at 107 Sturt Street between King William Street and Whitmore Square. Discover our tailor-made chairs crafted right here in Adelaide with our patented zero-gravity design. And say goodbye to all comfort complaints. Celebrate our grand opening with us and save up to $1,000 on your brand new tailor-made recliner chair. Plus, complimentary express build, plus free delivery. Come on in and visit our new place. The Posture Care Chair Company. T's and C's apply.
Now, we're just talking about power bills before. Well, what about this? We have had some absolutely absurd power bills at our place of late. You know, 1 month, it was for a month last winter, it was close to $1,000 for just like 5 weeks. Unbelievable.
Wow.
And look, they weren't getting any better, and obviously it's harder when you're trying to keep a family home of 6 people running and feeding them all and enjoying the cooking. The kitchen's always going, and having a pool means that, particularly in summer, you can chew through the power. All of this in a house that's more than 100 years old. So what do? Well, do what I did. Give the excellent people at NRG a call, because NRG came to our rescue with an outstanding solution that included getting a battery, which has been a game changer for us. They're excellent people. Michael and the team, they can help you save money. So if you're looking into solar, get in touch with the great people at NRG Solar. Their experience and knowledge is second to none. Visit nrgsolar.com.au and make tomorrow brighter.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out, while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Walco.com.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
23 after 7 hours. This was some exciting news. We're back for another year. Catherine House, Hutt Street Centre and the Undie Drive. It all starts next week. We're calling on you to support these amazing causes to provide clean underwear for those who need it this winter. That's how it all started. You can donate now at 5AAundieDrive.com.au. Plus, there are going to be more ways than ever to get involved, so make sure you listen to 5AA for more on how you can help. We always have a lot of fun with
We
this.
do. Proud to be part of it yet again. Hopefully, no one's going to have to jump in the sea at 6:30 a.m. when it's minus
that's been
1.
done now,
We've
isn't it?
done that. We'll
That's
tick
been
that box.
done, yeah.
But there's always something new, isn't there?
Yeah.
Something
Some new
humiliating
form
and
of
new.
torture. Mental torture.
Now, we have had a stack of requests to hear the spray that Will launched into. Well, the venting. The get it off your chest.
This is immediately after the game. Emotions are high, David.
Fair enough. Well, I want to hear it because I responded like a lot of Crows fans. I just wanted to pretend that it wasn't happening and just changed channels and turned off my radio. So, folks, by popular demand, here's Will losing his rag.
There was no expectation in 23. It was house money. Would have been nice to see maybe a month of footy.
But it was a great
2 months.
year. That was a great
Great.
Well, they were the number one.
This is the loser language of the Adelaide Football Club now. The coach is doing. He's bloody good.
Yeah.
Oh, they had a great year. They
call,
came
fair
10th. God, how sad is talking about the Crows gotten?
They were the number one attacking team last year, and I thought that was something to build on.
Can we hang the banner somewhere? What do you reckon? Under the Gavin Wanganeen stand? Remember 2023 we came 10th and we're the best attacking side? Oh, my God. Well, let me buy the VHS.
That's great.
Hello, Philip Cadell.
Well done, Will.
Campo was upset in the game, and now Will's upset after the game. And fancy me being the man of reason.
Let's hear from the voice of reason.
Stephen Lyle on 5AA Breakfast.
Good morning! Everyone's got their limit, Rowie. Good morning to you.
Oh, Pepper, Will, good morning. You went from a man that dances with a ribbon to a man who dances with a samurai sword.
Oh, cool. Rowie's getting into me about your joke last week about me doing rhythmic gymnastics.
Oh, that was the funniest radio I've heard in ages, that one.
Don't you reckon, though, Rowie, Will speaks for a lot of South Australians who I think there is a culture of mediocrity at the Adelaide Football Club?
Yeah, look, you'd like to think not. Patience can wear thin, and I think on the tease of last year, and we were hoping it wasn't going to be a fool's gold season where they did play well, and we've all declared the the rebuild's over, and look at the advancement of these players, and you lose your first 5 this year, and then it goes to where it does, and you don't attack, and every game we call with Campo, are we back, Campo? Are we back? There's signs that they are. That first quarter was just terrific, and then from then on it was just woeful. Now that seems to be the story of the Crows. The Crows' depth of high-end talent, 2 of them were out. Their 2 best players, Dawson and Rankin, weren't there. Their depth of their midfield talent's not there, and Taylor Walker, sadly, I think is still the most influential player. Now, where's that rebuild at? We had a number of callers, we're going to rebuild it. No! And that's when the samurai sword came out with Will. No.
Well, I think the thing that was really galling, and we were joking with Josh about it last Friday, 0.6% chance. Everyone knew that it was slim and improbable. But to fold your tent after just 1 quarter at home in front of a bumper crowd was pathetic.
42,000 there. God, I love our supporters. They're tolerant, they're passionate, they turn up. Not many of them left, and they just love the Crows. But we're being let down. And look, I don't want to keep going back over old ground. I call it the lost years, from 2014 to 2019, at the draft table, at the trade table, at the retention table, at the attraction table. We have landed here because of that. Now that's okay. We don't have to go over that. We sit 15th. Cut everything away, we sit 15th with Geelong, Bulldogs, Port and Sydney to finish. Where's the rebuild at? They're going to finish 15th. Where's the club at? Where are we at? I think people want to see changes, and I'm not too sure what they're going to end up. I know they had the mini review at the after round 15, and I love what I saw from them because, and Will, you supported it, so too did Campo. Taylor's playing, Bond's playing, Dowling's playing.
Yep.
That's what we want to see. Now we had a bit of a blue on Friday. Why didn't they play Dan Curtin? Well, B. Smith goes out with a runny nose. D. Curtin comes on as a sub. Why didn't he play?
Yeah. this is...
He's a pick 8, high-end talent. Just play him.
A lot of people say, well, look how young the team was. Well, the team's young now because they weren't being played earlier.
That's right.
Like, you've got having to play super young guys to find out what you got on your list because it's taken for the season to be over to explore the potential of the list. I think this is what drives the nuts, the supporters absolutely insane. And you're right, the club's going to come 15th again, and I think it's impossible to disentangle this discussion from the 42,000 that were there yesterday, because this came up when West Coast and their dog years most recently. There's just not the urgency at a club like Adelaide or West Coast to turn it around when your life is never on the line. Like Melbourne had 16,000 on the weekend turn up because people are fed up with how they're playing footy. That sort of shocks you to reality when you go, well, you know what? If this keeps going the way it's going, we're not going to be here. Now, we don't, the AFL, that's not real, but in a financial sense, your ability to do things, it's comfortable being a Crows person. It's comfortable being West Coast.
They've just cracked 70,000 members.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's always going to be money. The club's always going to be there. There's no urgency.
To make things worse,
there are a lot of good
Rowie,
blokes who deserve another crack. You
got Timmy G coming back cock-a-hoop with Port absolutely on fire on Friday. You're going to have an unbearable few hours this afternoon.
They are getting better and better by the week. They can make the 8. They can win a final. You know, the Ken Knockers will speak about that. Yeah, Timmy's back after 4. Before we do go, I thought top billing needed to go to Jess Fox today, winning that K1, the kayak final. She was silver 12 years ago in London, bronze in Rio and Tokyo. This girl's a star. To do that for 12 years at the top, to get that elusive gold medal, full credit to her. She's an absolute legend. We'll talk about that. You're right, Timmy G's back. 4 rounds left. It's getting to the pointy end. We'll see you after 4, guys.
On you, mate. Looking forward to it. Catch you right.
Don't just get a forklift. Get a Toyota forklift.
Deliver more with Toyota, the world's #1 forklift brand. Choose from a great range including pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
Stay warm this winter with Mac Trade Services. Take advantage of huge SA government rebates on reverse cycle air conditioners. If you are a concession card holder, you can get a reverse cycle Actron air conditioner from only $599, supplied and installed. That's nearly a 70% discount off the normal price. Get in quick while stocks last. Visit the Mac Trade Services office in Rose Park or call 1300 430 917.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 15 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
Jess Fox has won gold in the K1 slalom at the Paris Olympics. The 30-year-old set a disappointing time in the semi, but managed to blitz her opposition in the final. She's told 9 Radio she's on a high.
Thank you to everyone back home for the love, for the support, but all around Australia, you know, I'm really grateful to those who have travelled to Paris and also those who have stayed up and watched us, who have cheered for our team, who watched the opening ceremony, who sent us good vibes.
It's Australia's 4th gold medal in 2 days. Tom Wren will have all the Olympic latest coming up in sport. South Australia's economy is leading the nation. According to ComSec rankings, SA has always leading the statistics in jobs, housing and construction. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan says it's the 3rd consecutive win for SA.
The nation's economy is certainly slowing down. We're seeing that right across the board, and South Australia won't be immune from that. But it means that our state is confronting a period of slower economic performance nationally from the strongest possible position.
The Adelaide City Council has plans to convert 50 spaces above CBD shops into residential rentals in a bid to ease the housing crisis. The Adaptive Reuse City Housing Initiative aims to ease our housing crisis by transforming vacant spaces into profitable assets. The plan will also give new life to historic buildings. Donald Trump has told a Bitcoin conference that he would champion cryptocurrency if he wins the US presidential election in November. He told the gathering in Nashville that he'd make the United States the crypto capital of the world. The BBC's David Willis reports from Washington.
Donald Trump hasn't always been a fan of cryptocurrency. During his time in the White House, he dismissed it as highly volatile and based on thin air. His conversion has come at a time when major crypto companies, executives and investors have been making big donations to his presidential election campaign. Vowing to ease regulatory oversight of the industry, Mr. Trump said Bitcoin was going to the moon, as he put it.
Nearly three-quarters of all disability providers are considering closing because of recent price changes. The National Disability Insurance Agency has placed a cap on price growth. A survey conducted by peak body NDS shows hundreds of providers say they won't be able to continue operating amid soaring costs. The International Olympic Committee is defending its decision to allow a rapist to compete at the Paris Olympics after facing a backlash. Clinton Maynard reports.
Dutchman Steven van der Velde served jail time after he was convicted in the UK of raping a 12-year-old girl in 2016. He's been booed by protesters while taking part in the beach volleyball competition here in Paris. Mark Adams from the IOC says his inclusion is a matter for the Dutch team, but broadly, the IOC supports the possibility of rehabilitation.
The athlete himself is not staying in the village.
Mr. Adams says safeguards have been put in place.
The nation's golden girls in the pool have been immortalised on postage stamps. Australia Post is rolling out two designs. One features the 4x100 metre relay team with their Olympic gold medals. The other stars Ariane Titmus on her own. Time for sport with Tom Wren and exciting news from Paris, Tom.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? And as we heard with your report a little bit earlier, it's been a golden night for Australia with Jess Fox claiming first place in the K1 slalom event. And Grace Brown also won the women's road cycling time trial, taking out the gold. Emma McKeown, though, has missed out on a medal in her last individual race at an Olympic Games. Nine Radio's Shane McGuinness reports from Paris.
With 6 gold medals, she's our most successful ever Olympian, but it wasn't McKeown's night in the final of the 100 fly. McKeown simply outswum by Americans Tori Husk and Gretchen Walsh, who finished 1-2. In the women's 200 freestyle semis, only 6/100ths of a second separated Ariane Titmus and Molly O'Callaghan as they qualified first and second fastest respectively for tomorrow's final. In the men's event, Australia's second fastest ever over 200 metres, Max Giuliani, qualified 5th fastest for his final. And never has a pool sounded louder than when French sensation Leon Marchand won gold in the 400 metres individual medley, the French chanting his name at a packed La Défense Arena.
Yeah, amazing scenes there. Let's go to football, and Adelaide has slipped back to 15th on the ladder following a resounding 66-point loss at home against Hawthorn. The Crows actually led by 6 points at quarter time, but were outscored 14-3 after the first break. Let's go to motorsport. Aussie Oscar Piastri's good forms continued after he finished second at the Belgium Grand Prix. He actually came third, but the man who took the checkered flag, George Russell, was disqualified for his car being underweight. To golf, and Venezuelan Jonathan Vegas has won the 3M Open in Minnesota. The 39-year-old sinking the victory with a birdie on the last to secure the one-shot win, his first since 2017.
3 feet for the 3M title. There it is. The drought is over.
Audio thanks to Foxy, a great effort from him. Aussie Cam Davis finished 7 shots back in a tie for 19th. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there at Virginia. Crash to look out for Anglewale Road near Baker Road. Welland to Carvey truck there this morning. Grange Road near Hallett Boulevard. And Waterloo Corner broken down truck to look out for the north-south motorway near Port Wakefield Road. West Waterway slowing things up at Ashford today. It's on Anzac Highway near Maple Avenue just past the barracks heading out of the city. And got a camera at Ashburn Parade at Torrensville. Look for the RAA sign at over 400 independent RAA approved repairers across SA. You know you can trust them because RAA do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
15 and mostly sunny today. Tomorrow mostly sunny 16. Wednesday partly cloudy 17. Then Thursday sunny and 18 degrees. Currently it's 6. More news as it happens on 5AA.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Unfold your story with Galaxy AI on the new Samsung Galaxy Z series. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 have big battery power for creating and playing. They both feature a slim dynamic screen that flips up or folds out. It has a new hinge, screen, powerful camera and Galaxy AI to drive on-the-fly language translation or edit photos. Pre-order the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Fold 6 before the 31st of July and receive a $400 Harvey Norman gift card and 1 year of Samsung Care Plus valued at $229 via redemption. Prices start from $1,799 for the Samsung Flip and $2,749 for the Fold at Harvey Norman. Terms and conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you. Imagine a workplace that inspires productivity and creativity and reflects a connection with nature. With locally sourced furniture and custom printed fabrics and finishes to suit your brand and workspace, our office furniture is crafted to perfection. At Keen Office Furniture, we're dedicated to creating exceptional workspaces, and our furniture is designed to inspire and endure. We inspire productivity naturally. Let us help you create a workspace that inspires. Keen Office Furniture. Work happy. Get keen. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 8. Stacey Lee in the 5AA Breakfast Studio with tax returns imminent. Learn to speak. Now's the time to upgrade your office furniture. Keenoffice.com.au. We'll put someone in the Keen Office Furniture hot seat in just a moment. Stacey, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Happy Monday.
Good to be here, Stace, despite the frostiness of it all. You always warm things up a bit when you come in.
Oh,
though.
thank you. And I'm wearing my Thunderbird scarf
Oh,
today.
yeah. What
Ready
about
for the
them?
grand final on the weekend.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
We've been saying for the last couple of weeks, if you've disappointed, now Port fans will be a little bit more happy, but wherever you go, whatever you cheer on sporting-wise, if you want to get on a winner, the Thunderbirds. The bandwagon is sitting there waiting for you.
And they're playing at home
Yes.
this Saturday night, the grand final. We should all be getting behind our girls this week.
Going to be massive.
Yep.
Are the Libs all getting behind David Spears, do you think?
No is the answer in short, but can they do anything about it? No is also the answer in short. Who is the alternative? This is what I keep saying. I've been talking to so many Libs over the last week, and despite a large number of them being unhappy with David Spears as the leader, I always end, they have their rant, and then I go, okay, so what can you do about it?
Well.
And there's a big silence. Yeah, well, that's an issue. It is.
Could you imagine being one of the, in inverted commas, leadership aspirants who are going, so I really want to be the leader. No one thinks the leader's good, yet he's still not bad enough that I look like a better option. I reckon it's tough to be the second or third place person right now for the Liberal leadership. It's a terrible look.
He thinks... I got a message from him the other day after I did my column questioning whether he had his heart in it. He sent me a message saying that there was absolutely no truth to the suggestion that he was going to go to Scotland for a second wedding and that the whole thing's been made up. And I wrote back going, well, isn't the problem that it's actually coming from your own team? And that clearly there's a view within the party that he would rather be somewhere else. And he's already disappeared a couple of times. So that's how these stories start. And, stories start in politics all the time that aren't necessarily true. The thing is, who's starting them and why?
Well, but
that's
then
what
also
matters.
Stop it. Stop the rumour.
Correct.
When you guys are talking about it on the radio, get on the radio and say, there's no truth to this. After you publish a column, after it's been in the news for 3 or 4 days and sending a private text to you, all right, well, that maybe clears it up for you. Maybe. But you also need to prosecute that. A private text to you isn't helping the public rhetoric.
Yeah, but,
I don't understand.
We asked Vincent Tarzia the other week, do
Yeah.
you think he's doing a good job? And even that was too hard to answer.
Yeah.
Pretty easy question.
There is no facade erected that is pretending that that David Spears has any longevity in that role. Reminds me a bit of towards the end of Isabel Redmond's time, where Martin Hamilton-Smith was agitating, was really pushing to take over the leadership, and the only reason he didn't get it is because no one in the party liked him. No one thought Isabel was doing a good job. She didn't really want to be there anymore. But no one could stomach Martin coming back, right? That was basically what was happening behind the scenes. So it was this just long period of nothingness where no political wins were had, no gains. It was just sort of this stuck in the mud. That's what this is starting to feel like.
We're there again.
That ended with Isabel Redmond stepping aside and Stephen Marshall coming in. He came in as the deputy originally as a sort of a handover arrangement that was neat, because everyone went, well, he's the future, and ultimately became the premier. So that decision was right in the end. The problem, there doesn't seem to be that obvious handover candidate the closest everyone says is Ashton Hearn, but she's just not in a position to do that at the moment.
And not interested in it. She
Not
keeps saying
interested.
she's not interested in it. And would you be?
Not
Would you
right
be?
now.
Not
No,
right now.
no.
I'd be waiting till the next election.
But you got to feel sorry for Spearsy in a way, because like of all the times to become the leader of the opposition, can you imagine a worse one? Almost the worst time.
Yeah.
It's the worst time since the Playford Mander, when the Libs had all the seats stitched up so that rural electorates were, plentiful and suburban seats were modest and Labor could never win. This has been the worst time to be an opposition leader in South Australia since the gerrymander of the Thomas Playford era for Labor.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way ever that David Spears is going to be Premier.
No, there's not. I don't know. I don't think you'd be sitting in that job thinking that. I'd be trying to get that out of my mind.
But I think he would, because he's not. He's a smart bloke. He's a really smart bloke.
Yeah.
Every time I interview him, I think God, he's got a great turn of phrase. He throws some good haymakers.
He's very funny.
He's really funny.
Yeah.
He's self-deprecating.
Yep.
Maybe he's a bit too self-deprecating, because it sort of goes to the fact that he knows he's just at a point in history where, because leaders don't last that long in the modern era, you can't see them winning in 2 years' time.
No. I think sometimes he's too honest. And it was a little bit of a concern last week. So I am the co-chair of the Midwinter Ball. It's a big charity event held in Adelaide every year. Last year we raised $100,000, which was great for charities. And every year we ask the Premier and the opposition leader to give us auction items to auction off on the day. And it's always an experience with the Premier or the opposition leader. And this year there was a bit of a miscommunication happening behind the scenes. I didn't know about that at the time, but we got our email with these are the auction items. And the opposition leader's auction item was a brunch with Jack Batty. And I had to look at it twice and go, oh, hold on. No, what? Is that a mistake? Is this a sign of...
Did you guys think Jack was going to be the
Well,
leader?
This was last week and the ball is this Friday, and I'm looking at it going...
What do they know that we don't know?
What's happening? Is the opposition leader not coming? Does he not want to be involved anymore? Is
Out of the country.
Is he given Jack Batty the opportunity to put an auction item up? Or is someone telling me who's going to be the opposition leader next week? Now, it turns out it was just a mistake behind the scenes, probably on our end, to be honest. But the fact that I looked at it and thought about it with some sort of seriousness is a big concern for the opposition.
I just wonder if this is a really actually it's way simpler than we think. And this is way less complicated and less political in reality than we talk about as people who watch this all the time. Maybe the simple truth of the matter is, given the popularity of the Premier at the moment, his personal popularity, there is both no chance that Libs can win the next election, and David Spears is the most talented person to lead the party right now. Maybe both of those things are simply true at the moment. There is no viable alternative because you can't win anyway.
But then what has to happen is the party needs to get together. The party needs to fall back behind him. The party needs to support him as the leader. And safety in numbers, if you know you're not going to win the election and you know the current Premier is super popular, then you need to start working on a long-term game plan, and you all need to try and agree on what that looks like. And they just can't do that. And this party at the moment, the Liberal Party, state and federal in South Australia, is not going to be able to do that. I was so disappointed when I was reading the news last week about the people who are potentially putting their hands up for the seat of Grey. Every single one of them is a man. Rowan Ramsey's leaving the federal parliament. Every single one of them is a man. I was told last week that the party is looking at potentially changing the constitution to mean that the leader of the Liberal Party can sit in the upper house, because they want Ben Hood to take over from David Spears. And at the moment he's sitting in the upper house and he can't take over. Again, they're supporting men. They have 2 women in the lower house of the parliament. Is it still 2 women? I think it's still 2 women. I think if Anna Finizio won the by-election
in the lower house,
house, they would have had a third. It beggars belief that they want people out there to vote for them, but they do not represent the general public.
Do you reckon the people of Grey care about that, though? It's a pretty conservative part of Australia.
They should.
But that would reflect the branch of the old cockies.
Absolutely.
You know, that's just...
Yeah, but they'll still win it by...
And
it's
the
like 20%. So
average age of the branch member is 65 plus. How much longer are they going to have a branch in Grey if they don't start to be representative of the population?
Generational change. Coming to the far north of South Australia.
But who's going to be a Liberal Party member in Grey in 20 years' time?
Yeah. I reckon they'll be pretty confident about Gray for a while yet.
I just look at it and I go, all right, and again.
But I think the point
Once
you're trying to
again.
make is the fight is there to be had in the suburbs and what's happening here. Because they've only got 2 suburban seats in the entire...
Yeah, I guess it's what the message the Gray situation sends to those places.
Roseworthy.
Yeah.
It's just if you're a liberal-minded woman, you look at that and go, and again, party doesn't like people like me. Why am I going to bother giving them my money and giving them my time and my energy?
Who's in the hot seat? Do we work that out?
Put David Spears in there.
David Spears, why not? He spent a bit of time in the hot seat, getting very comfortable.
Yeah.
Thanks
At least
to Hahndorf's furniture.
It's a hot seat on the ground. It's not on a plane.
That's right.
Good on you, Stacey.
Never going to happen.
With tax returns imminent, now's the time to upgrade your office furniture. Keenoffice.com.au. Stacey will be sporting the T-Birds as well.
Yes.
Make sure you do it. Go get a scarf, buy some merch, support the girls.
Support the girls.
Like
this
Stacey
Saturday.
has. Exactly right. We have been getting behind the Olympic team. Had a good chat with Steve Titmus, Ariane's dad, a little bit earlier. We're going to replay a little bit if you missed it after the break, so make sure you stick around. Someone who's been now hailed as Australia's greatest Olympian or greatest swimmer among them, certainly by the end of this Games. Let's check traffic, thanks to Luba House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space in a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. Small bingo to look out for this morning at Virginia Anglevale Road near Baker Road, Carvey truck at Welland, Grange Road near Hallett Boulevard, broken down truck at Waterloo Corner, north-south motorway near Port Wakefield Road, and a burst water main at Ashford just opposite the hospital as you're heading out of the city near the barracks. Cameras this morning got a few around 2 Kings Road, Paralawi, Military Road at West Beach. The new Isuzu D-Max with refreshed styling and updated tech is reinvigorated and ready for life. Visit your local Isuzu Ute dealer today to discover the range. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Catch all the action from the Olympic Games in Paris as 5AA brings you Nine's coverage live each evening from 11:30. Don't miss a minute of the action as our Aussie stars set their sights on gold medal glory. Tune in tonight following Leith Forest as we cross to France for Nine's coverage. Paris 2024, live from 11:30 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Now let's see what's in the swear jar at Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens.
Boy, that's a cookie jar.
Busted. My mistake. Let's see. Here it is. Here's one from Renette, an interior designer at Buy Urban for over 20 years. Renette swears to ensure your dream bathroom becomes a wonderful reality. For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Buy Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts. Wouldn't mind a cookie.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Do you know how much that old fridge in the shed is adding to your electricity bill? Your energy saving solutions can collect your old inefficient fridges and freezers for free, and the best part is that you can also get up to $150 per unit. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from Your Energy Saving Solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the Jayco. Jump in the Jayco. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
Now, it's always handy to have a mate with a bus, a van, a truck or a ute, and it is particularly handy if that bloke is Matt, the excellent front man at Avis Truck Rental. I don't know if you noticed, Will, I've got an Avis rental downstairs at the moment.
But I didn't see it.
My Kluger is off-road, being repaired after that
savaged in that
jerk drove a trailer into it. And look, at the drop of a hat, I rang Matt. He said, "Mate, we can sort you out." They're fantastic people. So, you know, if you don't have a mate with a bus, van, truck or ute, that's why Avis Truck Rental Adelaide is the best mate you can have.
They're great people. They're so easy to deal with as well. SA's go-to vehicle rental company for decades. They've got 12-seaters that are ready to roll with a standard driver's licence that are perfect for a road trip to the footy.
And how good's this? They'll give you a fixed price up front so you don't get any nasty surprises when you get home. Just ask for the 5AA fixed price.
With their fleet of vans, buses, utes and trucks, they're sure to help you turn got a problem into not a problem. Avis Truck Rental Adelaide open in 7 days at 416 Port Road, West Hindmarsh. Book it online at avis.com.au or call 8241 5200.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
7 to 8, a little bit earlier, we had the pleasure of catching up with Steve Titmus, the father of Ariane Titmus, who really got things going in the pool for Australia over the weekend. Ariane winning over the American Golden Girl, Katie Ledecky again. Summer McIntosh, in fact, came second in that race, who's the heir apparent. But right here and now, Ariane Titmus is queen of the pool. Here's Steve chatting on 5AA Breakfast a short time ago.
Yeah, good morning, guys. My voice is slowly, ever so slowly coming back after cheering all last night, so I apologise for that. But, guys, lovely to talk to you. And, boy, we're still sort of starting to come to grips with the enormity of last night's victory. But wonderful to talk to you this morning.
Steve, thanks so much for making the time, mate. I'm sure you're being absolutely inundated by requests from all over Australia. But can you give us a sense, as a father, you must just feel like you're walking on a cloud, mate.
Oh, look, it's extraordinary. Last night, before the start of that 400-metre final, Robin and Mia, Arnie's sister, we sat down and we sort of talked a little bit about, you know, the fact that what if we hadn't moved from Tassie and gone to Queensland, where there was better coaching opportunities and, of course, a lot more competition. We may never have seen Ariane swim at an Olympic game. So we reminisced a lot last night about, the 10-odd years ago when we decided as a family to move from Tassie to Queensland. And I also had flashbacks, and I got my phone out and looked at my old photographs from when we first took Ariane to swimming lessons many, many years ago when she was about 6 months old. And so that's what happened last night before the 400. We thought a lot about the past and looked up into the incredible stadium where the swimming's being held and thought, wow, whoever ever thought in our wildest dreams would we ever have a daughter being a dual Olympic champion and the number one in the world.
There's a line in the advertise this morning that's saying she's now in the company of the greatest swimmers ever to have done it in this country. She's got an incredibly sort of calm demeanour as she enters the pool deck. Steve, does she get that from you or her mother?
Oh, mate, one would probably think she gets a determination from her mother. But look, the two of us, we are very much, we very much plan a lot of our stuff. We treat life, if you like, with the fact that, you don't just want things to happen by accident. Both Robin and I came from sporting backgrounds. She was a national sprint athletics champion many, many moons ago, and I came from a cricketing background, having played with David Byrne and Ricky Ponting in Tasmania. So we both got the whole sporting aspect, if you like, of what life was all about. But she is a very smart girl. She's got an incredibly calm demeanour about her, and I know her teammates and the media and everybody is saying at the moment how relaxed she is. And she is. And when she spoke to us after she won the other night, she knew the enormity of the whole country expecting her to win and having the weight of the entire country on her shoulders. But she said that, she felt the weight was lifted and that, she could now really enjoy and soak up the entire atmosphere of the enormity of what these Olympic Games are.
You may not be aware of this, Steve, but there's an online debate going on amongst Tasmanians at the moment about who the greatest sporting Tasmanian of all time is, and you mentioned Ariane and Ricky Ponting seems to be who the debates come down to right now. That may change over the course of the Games. It might not be a debate at all. I'm interested, there's a part of this, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but I'm not sure our listeners are, the degree to which, in a sporting sense, Ariane is a villain in North America, because she's repeatedly beaten their golden girl in Katie Ledecky. And it's all good-natured. It's sporting rivalry sort of stuff. But does some of that filter through to you? Like that she's the giant slayer for them?
I know. Do you know what, though? We were asked that very question last night. And the Americans, believe it or not, are the friendliest people to us as the Titmus family as any other nation that there is. And I think Thorpe was the one that has also said that everybody in the world loves Ariane Titmus except Katie Ledecky and Summer McIntosh. was what Thorpe's words were. So But the Americans are so friendly and nice to us. And last night, we were surrounded by Americans in the grandstands last night. And when Ariane won, they all said, look, congratulations, absolutely fantastic. She's the best swimmer on the night. And she's had Katie's measure now for a couple of years. And she's got Summer's measure at the moment as well. So, it's... And Katie and Arnie are both, I don't think they call each other rivals. They call each other friends, and they just really enjoy. And we enjoy it as well as a family to see her and Katie and Summer race each other. These are, Katie Ledecky, the greatest swimmer of all time, and then here's Arnie, who's now able to defeat her in the pool, and to see those two swimmers in the pool race together is really quite extraordinary. Katie walked past me last night. She was about 3 feet away, and I looked at her. And this is really weird, but I looked at her and I thought, there is an absolute superstar. And then my daughter, who's literally 2 feet away, she's just my daughter.
Yeah,
you don't sort of think, there's an absolute superstar, and there's my daughter, who's at the same level as what she's at. However, you go, hang on a bit, that's my bub there. And it's such a weird feeling that because you obviously know your children so well, that you find it's actually quite difficult to put them up on this massive pedestal and say that you've got a daughter who's an absolute idol. It's quite a surreal feeling, really.
Yeah, it must just be the most amazing feeling, Steve. Were you with Arnie when she was in camp in Perpignan, or have you just got there for the competition?
No. So we arrived. We went on a cruise to the Med for a few days, and then we arrived in Paris 2 days before competition got underway. We haven't actually... Last night when she finished the race and we had the big hug at the end, that was the first time we'd had physical contact with her in 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was wondering. It's a long time since you've seen her.
Yeah, absolutely. We've only had FaceTime contact a couple of times a day, and sometimes only once a day for about 6 weeks. So last night was a great moment for the whole family when Mia was there and Robin and I were able to give Arnie a big hug, which was, the first time in 6 weeks, and that was a fabulous moment. And Arnie said to us, the funny part was, she said, gee, stop squeezing me so hard, it hurts.
That was Steve Titmus a little bit earlier in the program this morning. Another parent of Olympian coming up after o'clock. Steve Moore, the father of Jesse, who is a South Australian Adelaide boy who has made history in this Olympic Games in his event. We'll be speaking to his father about that after 8 o'clock.
The news and information that matters. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 15 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning, I'm Graham Goodings.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
Australia is basking in the glory of Ariane Titmus winning back-to-back 400-metre freestyle events at the Olympics. In what was billed as the race of the century, she defeated Canadian Summer McIntosh and the legendary Katie Ledecky, who came in third. Arnie's dad, Steve Titmus, told David and Will it's surreal.
Katie walked past me last night. She was about 3 feet away, and I looked at her and I thought, there is an absolute superstar. And then my daughter, she's just my daughter. It's such a weird feeling because you obviously know your children so well. It's actually quite difficult to put them up on this massive pedestal.
More Olympic news coming up in sport with Tom Wren. South Australia's economy has been ranked number 1 in the nation by CommSec for the third time in a row. CommSec's State of the States report shows SA topped the nation in 3 of the 8 key indicators, leading the statistics in jobs, housing and construction. Premier Peter Malinauskas says many families are doing it tough in a high-cost environment, but SA's strong economic position provides a strong platform for our future. New ministers will be sworn in today after Anthony Albanese announced his first cabinet reshuffle. Zach De Silva reports.
Arts Minister Tony Burke will have Home Affairs and Immigration added to his plate as part of changes to federal cabinet. Mr Burke takes over from Claire O'Neill, who's been moved to Housing, and Andrew Giles, who'll now look after Skills and Training. The two ministers have been moved on after a number of border breaches and a major loss in the High Court. New ministers for Housing, Agriculture, Workplace Relations and Indigenous Australians are also being appointed. They'll all be sworn in this morning and will then meet at Parliament House shortly after.
A man's been caught drink driving at Nailsworth overnight. Senior Constable Scott James says he was spotted speeding on Main North Road.
The vehicle was stopped a short distance away by patrols and the driver was spoken to. He was submitted to a breath test where he returned a reading of 0.155, more than 3 times the legal limit. The 42-year-old driver, he was reported for drink driving, his vehicle was impounded and he was issued with a 12-month loss of licence.
A man will face court today charged with arson after a fire in a building containing the historic Oxford Hotel in North Adelaide. It took dozens of firefighters to bring the blaze under control, which caused an estimated $3 million damage. The 37-year-old man was arrested about 12 hours after the fire broke out. There's been a massive data breach at the Paris Games, with the personal information of a number of Israeli athletes leaked online. 9 Radio's Shane McGuinness is in Paris.
Israeli athletes competing here in Paris have become the victims of a cyber attack with highly sensitive and personal information leaked online via social media. The leaked information includes Olympic accreditation details, blood test results, and even their Israeli military status. The French Cyber Crime Unit has been asked to help remove the confidential information. The Israeli Foreign Minister has previously warned his French counterparts that Iranian-backed groups were looking to target Israeli athletes during these Olympics.
Now turning to 5AA Sport and more gold for Jess Fox.
Yeah, outstanding. As we heard in your report a little bit earlier, Graham, she has won a second Olympic gold medal, this time in the elusive K1 discipline, which has evaded her over her past 3 Olympic Games.
It's been a dream day here in Paris, and this medal means so much to me.
Yeah, great stuff. That's Jess on 9 Radio, and she still has 2 other chances to win more gold at this Olympics. There was also gold overnight from cyclist Grace Brown in the time trial event on the road, meaning the Aussies have 4 gold and 2 silver overall, for a total of 6 medals, putting them second on the medal tally behind Japan. Well, Adelaide coach Matthew Nicks insists he has the right playing list to take the club back to finals. That's despite a horror 66-point loss to Hawthorn at home. The Crows haven't played in September action since 2017 now, and are now no chance to make it again this season. But Nicks believes all the elements are there for success to come soon.
I believe we've got the right group. You know, we will need a little bit more experience under our belt. We'll get that. We'll keep working through this season and try and finish strong. Tonight was a blip on that.
Yesterday's result elevates Hawthorn up to 9th, just percentage behind the Bulldogs, who enjoyed a comprehensive 39-point win against Sydney at the SCG. And Collingwood is sitting only 1 win outside the top 8 after taking care of Richmond by 26 points. To motorsport, George Russell has won the Belgium Grand Prix only to then be disqualified for his car being underweight. That elevated Lewis Hamilton into first, while Aussie Oscar Piastri finished second, and he's now up to 4th in the overall season standings. Fellow Aussie Daniel Ricciardo ended up finishing 10th, which meant he received 1 championship point. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom Wren. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there, got a breakdown to look out for at Stirling at the moment. It's on the freeway of the Stirling exit, got a few delays inbound. Burst Waterway slowing things up this morning at Ashford. It's on Anzac Highway just past the Army Barracks heading outbound. And look out for a few works today at Mawson Lake, Salisbury Home and Eldersmith Road, speeds at 40. Cameras Kings Road, Paralawi and Brooker Terrace at Richmond. Book your Asia getaway at Flight Centre and save up to 50%. Escape to Phuket for 8 nights from just $865 for 2. Hurry and soon. Book with Flight Centre today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Mostly sunny and 15 today. Tomorrow mostly sunny 16. Wednesday 17, partly cloudy. Thursday sunny and 18. Currently it's 9. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Imagine a learning space that inspires creativity and a connection with nature. Here at Keen Education Furniture, we can make that a reality. With locally sourced furniture, custom prints and finishes to suit your learning place, our education furniture is crafted to perfection. At Keen Education Furniture, we're dedicated to creating exceptional learning spaces. Our furniture is designed to inspire and endure. Let us help you create a learning space that inspires. Keen Education Furniture. Learn happy, get keen.
G'day everyone, Cornsey here. Now I know a great team when I see one, and the South Australian hydraulic team I rate the highest is BL Shipway. The Shipway team are the best in the business. They've been looking after your hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953 with brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Enerpac, Hydac, Oilpath, EasyFit and many more. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. Rush into National Tiles now for our famous spend and save. Spend $500 and we'll only charge you $400. Spend $1,000 and we'll only charge you $750. Or spend $2,000 and we'll only charge you $1,450. Or $4,000 and we'll only charge you $2,750. Yes, the more you spend, the more you'll save. But you'll have to be quick. So rush into National Tiles Spend and Save now. Conditions apply.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes after 8, good morning to you. If you're joining us for the first time, it's Monday the 29th of July. Breaking 8 coming up in a moment. John Schuman's going to be on the show very shortly. He's playing at the Gov this Saturday night. Yep. Always loved chatting with John. Great sense of humour. And fun. One thing he really enjoys is teasing you, which I always quite enjoy too. He really does.
He does.
Both in person and indeed on the phone.
When I got the lyrics to I Was Only 19 wrong, he's never let me live that down. Mum and Dad and Denny.
What did you think it was?
I said Dinny. Dinny.
Oh, that's just...
Who's Dinny? That's what he said. Who's Dinny?
That's a vowel pronunciation issue, isn't it?
That's right. It's the Adelaide accent.
Exactly right. 8223 is that number. You can text us on the Duttons text line as well, 0448 1395. A third-generation family-owned dealership with over 7 years' experience. Duttons, easy to do business with. The good news is, too, we had some internet dramas early, but now Foodland Supermarkets, Facebook and YouTube live stream, both up and running, and you can have your say on anything that's going on over the course of the morning. It's time for Breaking at 8.
Might have to do a bit of what they call padding for this one, because
sorry,
we're awaiting...
Do you want me to filibuster?
No, that's all right. It's about River Road. The transport dramas in Hahndorf are continuing. I spoke overnight to a member of the Residents' Action Group, and they're taking the pretty extraordinary step of trying to have an injunction lodged against the state government to stop River Road being used as the bypass around Hahndorf. There's been all sorts of safety concerns. You'll remember that one of the residents, a young mother, bailed up the Premier last year at a press conference and said that their house, her son's bedroom in fact, is only a few metres away from the edge of the road, and a lot of the residents of River Road are saying that they don't think it's an acceptable solution at all. This road, which they say is too narrow, is being used as the de facto bypass to ease congestion in Hahndorf. Josh Teague is the Shadow Attorney General, but in this context, more importantly, he's also the local member, and he's joining us to round this out this morning. Josh, thank you for your time. So the residents are actually, this is pretty full on. They're trying to take the government to court. They're trying to take legal action to stop River Road being used. I don't know what the chances are of succeeding, but it's an indicator of the extent of community feeling, I guess.
Morning, David. Thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for shining a light on this. This is just yet another insult from the government in terms of, just how badly can you mismanage the movement of vehicles, trucks in the hills. So no notice from the department, and all of a sudden residents on River Road, my constituents, see some piece of paper in the gate that says there's going to be a whole lot of main road major barriers just installed at no notice. And I've got to say, they've done a brilliant job. They've got together, they've had the department folks come round and actually front up and say what is going on. And they're pretty basic requests. Just treat everybody with a bit of common courtesy, engage with those who actually know what's going on, work out where pathways need to be, and if you're going to do something to improve safety, don't do it before you've actually worked with this community of residents. This is off the back of the government, just out of nowhere, jamming trucks down River Road, and it's no solution. It's a sign that this Labor government, both state and federal, they're not interested in the hills. They're not interested in listening to people in the hills. And, this is just about the most reasonable of requests from the local residents. The department's just got to put a pause on it. Don't do anything more until you've actually gone about engagement properly with the local resident.
Do you think that this solution... I mean, the government even doesn't seem to think that it's perfect. It feels like a bit of a Band-Aid solution that in the long term isn't actually going to really fix things for Hahndorf.
Oh, it's a shocker, David. It's a shocker. And, they're treating River Road, which for decades has been a place where people will walk. They'll walk all the way down there to the bus. They'll ride a bike. There's people who ride horses up and down what's a quiet, winding road through the hills. And, the proper safety reviews and transport reports that have been done have always ruled out River Road for the purposes of trucks and, corridor movement, all that stuff. It's just been ruled out every time, because of the topography and the nature of the road, and every single factor under the sun. And this government has just come along and said, oh, well, whatever. We're just going to do this because it's it's the easiest thing they can see to make an announcement.
Yeah.
It's counterproductive. It's dangerous, and it adds insult to injury when the department sounds like it's going to be rolling up again at no notice and just treating the local residents with complete disdain. It's unacceptable. They've got to go back, reset, and talk to the residents.
Hey, Josh, just while we've got you, Vincent Tarsi had a bit of an issue with this one when we had him on the other day, but I'll put it to you as well. Do you think David Spears is doing a good job?
Oh, absolutely, and
well, that's good.
I might say so is Vincent. And I think the issue here. I've just come through yet another jam on the freeway this morning. We've got a government that's put us into generational debt, and we've got the Premier down at the Aquatic Centre with his shirt on, but he's taking the shirt off South Australia.
I see. There's an emphatic answer.
We're working as a team to change the government because we know we can do it better, David, and that's what we're focused on.
That was Will, but he was the one who was being the troublemaker. But it was a solid answer, Josh, and we appreciate you joining us this morning. Josh T there.
Thanks, baby. Thanks, Will.
Good on you. Josh T.
Good on you.
Thank you.
That's the unity answer.
That's good. It's taken him a few days, but they got there.
Well done, Josh. All right, let's...
You're a starer, mate. Good on you.
Just wanted.
But he thought it was me.
Well, that's why I can get away, especially during Bragging Rights, I can get away with murder in that segment.
That's right.
It's true. Actually, have you seen on every one of the Prime Ministers, when he has a printout of the transcript, it's always with you. So I can ask any rude question, and everyone thinks it was David Pemberton. It's superb.
Handy.
It's like
your
a free,
alter ego.
it's like a blank check. All right, let's check in with Jade Robran. Thanks to Duttons, family owned and operator for 75 years and easy to do business with. Morning to you, Jade.
Good morning, guys. This is an interesting story this morning. Local sporting clubs have become a hot commodity for crime gangs. Now, this warning has come from the Sport Integrity Australia chief, David Sharp, who has come out to say that sports clubs have become the popular place for crime gangs. They're preying on all levels, including country and junior leagues, and they're targeting them with drugs and tobacco. But drugs isn't the only issue worrying the Sports Integrity Australia team. They're concerned about streaming of matches. Now, you can pretty much stream any games these days. My son's under 12 Sapsaza Footy Carnival. That was even streamed a couple of months ago, which at the time I thought, this is great for grandparents that live overseas or, interstate or family members who just can't get there. But there is a little bit more of a sinister reason behind all of these. That is why the Integrity Unit is so concerned. And the reason is gambling. They're believing that streaming is making codes really vulnerable to illicit offshore betting markets. Now, information from Interpol, it's already caught out some illegal activity. Sports Integrity Australia, they recently received intelligence from the UK Gambling Commission about an alleged betting scandal involving a Colombian organised crime syndicate. That resulted in 3 players from the A-League club, MacArthur FC, being charged for allegedly manipulating yellow cards. And then in a separate matter, global agencies, they helped New South Wales Police take down an international syndicate in Sydney. Now, that was match-fixing table tennis. So No sport is out of their sights. Today, international law enforcement agencies, they're going to join Sport Integrity Australia officials as well as state and territory policing and policymakers to discuss these issues at a conference. But tell you what, guys, it's so sad that our community sports clubs, the hub and heartbeat of many communities in the city and also country areas, are now being corrupted. It just feels like nothing is safe or sacred anymore. But I guess it's up to those like me that's, part of a community club just to call this behaviour out. But I don't know, I'm not sure how you eliminate the enemy in this one.
Well, part of it's human nature. I mean, I was just shaking my head as you were talking, Jade, thinking, what kind of a saddo is up at night watching the table tennis? Because they've got, Chan from Guangzhou in a multi with come on, Chan, go!
But it clearly happens. That's the whole premise why that fake IPL could work. Remember they had the fake IPL where they, not even real cricketers, but they dressed it up as real cricket matches because they made it was going gangbusters in Russia and the gambling community. Gambling will find a way to use that sort of Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
nature will find a way.
Thank you, Jeff Goldblum.
Without being, without wanting to be defeatist about it, the streaming's not the enemy here. I think the streaming of sport to allow grandparents and family members and people to watch kids. And
I was wondering, can you get your kid in a multi?
Well, I think that's the inference. I mean, that's what Jade's saying. That's the horrible thing about it.
I had Spain in the Euros along with Jim to break through the 1.3 metre mark in the long jump.
Jim and his social basketball on Thursday nights.
Right.
He needed to make 1-3. Let's go to Peter in Ashford. Morning, Peter.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Look, I reckon I can fix Hahndorf in about 2 days. I lived in the pub up there in about the 1960s. When the semi-trailers used to go through Hahndorf, it was the main road from Adelaide to Melbourne, and there didn't seem to be too much problem. Now, I know there's a huge amount of tourism, people that come here now. All you got to do is make no parking on one side of the street, and that gives you an extra, 3 metres or whatever. The tourists that come in, there could be a parking station or a car park up at the Hahndorf Oval, where the bus could run the tourists back and forwards into town, back into Hahndorf. It's fixed in 2 days. The freeway at the back of my law is what they're talking, $45 million. It's still going to be a problem. Let's get sensible. Tourists, there's always going to be a traffic problem in Hahndorf, but it can be rectified. Have no parking on one side of the street, all done, 2 days, probably cost you $500,000 for signs or less. Or with the way the government spent money, probably $4 million for signs, and it's all done.
Yeah, makes sense.
Simple to me.
Yeah, no, it does. It sounds like a very common sense approach, Peter. Great call, mate. Peter from Ashford there.
All right, it's 21 minutes after 8. In a moment, looking forward to this, we're going to play a chat we recorded a little bit earlier with Jesse Moore's father, Steve Moore. Jesse, of course, we spoke to on our program a couple of months ago when he became the first South Australian male gymnast to ever qualify for the Olympic Games, competing in the all-round. He had a great weekend. His father was there watching him. We'll play that interview in just a moment on 5AA Breakfast. Traffic first, thanks to Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will at Darlington, a smash on Seacombe Road at Miller Street. Stirling, a breakdown on the freeway near the Stirling ramp, delays inbound. Carvey truck at Welland, Grange Road near Hallett Boulevard, and a burst water main at Ashford this morning. Anzac Highway just past the barracks as you're heading out of the city. Cameras this morning, Airport Road, Brooklyn Park, and Press Road at Brooklyn Park as well. Now at Harvey Norman, bonus local delivery and wall mount installation on selected TVs. Hurry, offer ends today. Harvey Norman, best brands, best range, best prices guaranteed. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? You might even qualify for a purchase you've already made. Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
We all have a little chaos at home, stuff tossed under the stairs, in the laundry, under a bed, or just rammed in a cupboard. then when we really need it, we can never find it. Well, Sharman Shelving can change all that. Sharman Shelving can help you keep everything organised. Bill and Christine are terrific people. They'll come out to your home or business for a free measuring quote. You won't believe what a difference they can make, and it's affordable. Visit sharmanshelving.com.au or take a look on Facebook.
Tired of waking up tired? IKEA can help. Start building a more sleep-friendly space with IKEA, the one-stop shop for snoozing. So wake up. It's time to sleep. Make it happen at ikea.com.au.
Music of the Night, a spectacular celebration of musicals from Andrew Lloyd Webber, London's West End, Broadway and more. Music of the Night, coming to Her Majesty's Theatre, Adelaide, Saturday, August 10 at 2 p.m. Tickets on sale now. Don't miss it. Book at tickettech.com.au. Enjoy this sensational 2-hour matinee performance at Her Majesty's Theatre, Adelaide, 2 p.m, Saturday, August 10. Book now.
The Lordman & Pank sale is here. Enjoy 20% off a range of prescription glasses, prescription sunglasses and contact lenses today. Hurry, offer ends July 31. T's and C's apply. See website for details. Book an eye test today. Lordman & Pank. We care for eyes.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Well, Jesse Moore's already made history at the Olympic Games, becoming the first South Australian man to ever compete in the event, the men's gymnastics, and it was a terrific start too, landing a spot in the Olympic all-round final. Watching it all was his father, Steve. Steve Moore, good morning to you and welcome to 5AA Breakfast.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Just first and foremost, what is it like? Because this, of all the sports to watch a child play, the margin for error is so small watching gymnastics, and obviously you would have done a bit over your time, but the stakes are so high at the Olympic Games. How do you get through a routine?
With great difficulty, years of practice. When we speak to Jesse, I think we're, and not just us, but most gymnastics parents are probably more nervous than their kids competing. It's very nerve-wracking. You are just moving with every swing of the high bar or every spin around on the pommel. So it's very nerve-wracking, and each time they complete a routine and they get it, it's just that sense of relief.
We spoke with Jesse when he made this historic achievement in making it to the Olympic Games, and talking about how it came down to that last event, the Oceania Championships, for him to qualify. And now he's made it, and he's made it through to the final. What were his expectations coming in? What were his goals? Because this would seem to be even an extra step above and beyond what he was talking about when we first spoke with him going back a couple of months.
Yeah, it's actually funny. When you guys spoke to him, he actually had COVID. So when he came back from New Zealand, and he actually was quite sick just when you were interviewing him. So pretty proud for him to get through that interview. But obviously, when he got to his last, he did the same order of apparatus that he did in Auckland for the qualifying event, and he had the high bar last. And obviously, in Auckland, he fell twice on the high bar, and there he was. All he has to do is really stick that last high bar routine, and he was going to qualify. So, but the expectations, he knew if he did his best that there was a possibility of making it through to the final. And look, he still made a few little mistakes. So look, he's a pretty humble kid, and he doesn't really say too much. But look, I think personally he thought making the final was a possibility, and now look, I think whatever happens from here in the final will just be a brilliant result for him.
I think Thursday morning our time the final takes place. Tell us a bit about the contingent that's over there watching him. How many family members have you got there? How do you organise yourself on an event day? Where do you sit? What's the sort of process for you?
Yeah, so obviously there's my wife, Trina, and myself here. We've got my sister-in-law, brother-in-law. We've got our two other sons, and a couple of cousins. And I think there's
5 boys from Sacred Heart School that Jesse went with. They're here as well, and there's obviously a few of his gym mates as well that he's both from SA and interstate that he's sort of trained and competed with over the years. So, looking the tickets is interesting. You sort of get access as parents. We get the 2 tickets available to us. We get a link sent to us 2 days before, and we just hop on and purchase them from there. And same thing will happen for the final. I think we get access to them tomorrow morning.
Where did Jesse's journey start here in Adelaide doing gymnastics? How did he first get into it? Who was it? You taking him? Was it Mum taking him? Whose idea was it?
I think it was Mum. Look, he was just as a 3 or 4 year old. He was just so active, and he could do the splits, do cartwheels. We got a trampoline. He's doing somersaults at probably 3 or 4 years old. So we thought there was something there. And look, he got spotted at a sort of come and try session at school, at primary school, and pretty well from there they identified him, and he was thrown straight into the elite program. I think he just turned 7 at that stage. So this is 14 years in the making.
Just remarkable, and doing something that, I mean, it makes it more difficult, I think, doing something that no one else from your part of the world has done before. It's not that you can point to some, recent success story. He's blazing a trail. Are you guys all acutely aware of that? Because it's getting huge coverage back here in Adelaide. Yeah, obviously, first South Australian to make men's artistic, or make the Olympics. I think he's the second or third to have made a all-round final now. So look, we certainly are seeing everything on social media these days. Obviously, you get access and it's all flying through, and you get messages while the competition's going and when it's finished. And look, it's we're certainly feeling the love, and everyone's sort of friends and the support team are just those still at home are just going through the journey with us. So we certainly can feel that Jesse is getting some real exposure here, and also the sport itself, gymnastics. Yeah, well, you're going to have everyone at home riding him right through the final as well, Steve, because we've enjoyed the journey thus far, and it's just so exciting to think that it's got another stage to come. We'll all be watching, and wishing you and the family all the best, Steve. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, Timbo. Cheers.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Mostly sunny and 15 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Hydrotherapy at Physio Extra Marion has individual sessions and classes claimable on private health and NDIS.
Jess Fox has won Australia's 4th gold medal of the Olympics in the event which has previously eluded her. After qualifying 8th fastest for the K1 final, she posted a blistering time in a final run, but then had to watch and wait.
It was really hard to watch. I was struggling to sort of keep the nerves in check and not let the emotion get to me, because it's really hard watching each paddler come down, seeing the ones that are almost about to beat you.
That's Jess on Nine Radio. More Olympic news in sport with Tom Wren. South Australia's economy is leading the nation. According to CommSec rankings SA, is leading the statistics in jobs, housing and construction. Treasurer Stephen Mulligan says it's the 3rd consecutive win for SA.
The nation's economy is certainly slowing down. We're seeing that right across the board, and South Australia won't be immune from that. But it means that our state is confronting a period of slower economic performance nationally from the strongest possible position.
The Adelaide City Council has plans to convert 50 spaces above CBD shops into residential rentals in a bid to ease the housing crisis. The Adaptive Reuse City Housing Initiative aims to deliver 50 new homes each year by transforming vacant spaces into profitable assets. A citywide audit identified almost 150 buildings so far as potential adaptive reuse properties. Property owners would be offered a financial incentive of up to $50,000 to help with conversion costs. A man's been caught drink driving at Nailsworth overnight. Senior Constable Scott James says he was spotted speeding on Main North Road.
The vehicle was stopped a short distance away by patrols and the driver was spoken to. He was submitted to a breath test where he returned a reading of 0.155, more than 3 times the legal limit. The 42-year-old driver, he was reported for drink driving, his vehicle was impounded and he was issued with a 12-month loss of licence.
Former television host Andrew O'Keefe has been arrested in Sydney for driving under the influence of drugs. Police stopped the 52-year-old after he allegedly threatened a man at a nearby address. He returned a positive roadside drug test and has spent the night in custody. There are calls for more people to consider becoming an organ donor. Donate Life Week has kicked off today. 1,800 Australians are on an organ wait list, and only 41% of people are registered donors. Double lung transplant recipient Murray Brown says he wouldn't be alive without it.
Near-death experience sort of makes you, very grateful for being here. So I owe my life to, obviously, my donor and my donor family. So I guess my motto in life, or however you want to put it, is make my donor and my donor family proud.
More readers are opting to buy romance novels. Publishing data provider Nielsen Bookscan shows sales of books in the genre have leapt by 37% a year. The rise is being fuelled by those seeking an escape from their everyday lives. Now turning to 5AA Sport, and here's a big book reader, Tom Wren.
Yeah, I probably should read a lot more, I think, Graham. But anyway, that's for another day. As we heard a little earlier, Jess Fox has won gold, meaning Australia now has 4 gold medals overall, with a total of 6 medals, including 2 silver. In the swimming pool, Australia's most successful Olympian, Emma McKeown, has raced her final individual race of her Olympic career. She finished 6th in the women's 100-metre butterfly, and she's told Nine Radio it's a disappointing way to finish.
I tried not to think about too much before, just emotional. I definitely hope that would have been better, but I know I've got a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, the Matildas have staged a stunning comeback to beat Zambia 6-5 in their second pool game. They were 5-2 down but rattled off 4 goals late to record the win. Tony Gustafsson looked to his bench to get on the front foot, and during a goal fest, Michelle Heyman fired Australia in front in the dying stages. The 36-year-old says they never say die.
100%. We want that medal. We really are trying our hardest, to bring something home. So for us, it was just keep digging. We knew we could do it. It was going to come, and we knew they were going to get tired. So that's why I was happy to come on with fresh legs and run some rings around.
Audio again there, thanks to Nine Radio. Let's go to football. Adelaide suffered a humiliating 66-point loss at home against Hawthorn, meaning they've slumped back inside the bottom 4. They now sit in 15th spot and face Geelong away this coming Saturday. 2 other games to wrap up the round yesterday, with the Bulldogs belting Sydney by 39 points at the SCG, while Collingwood cruised to a 26-point win against Richmond. And Lewis Hamilton has won the Belgium Grand Prix in controversial circumstances after teammate George Russell was disqualified despite winning. It was found his car was 1.5 kilos underweight, handing the victory to Hamilton whilst elevating Aussie Oscar Piastri into second and Charles Leclerc up to third. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Thanks, Tom. Now checking 5AA traffic.
G'day there at Darlington, a smash on Seacombe Road at Miller Street, just near the shops, causing few delays. Stirling, a breakdown on the freeway, another Stirling Road delays inbound there too, quite heavy in fact. Burst Watermain at Ashford to look out for, Anzac Home and Maple Avenue, just near the Army Barracks coming out of the city. And look out for early morning cameras, May Terrace, Brooklyn Park and Military Road at West Beach. Feeling inspired to get moving? Join Anytime Fitness and start training for your personal best with 24/7 access to all clubs nationwide. Search Anytime Fitness. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Mostly sunny and 15 today. Tomorrow 16, mostly sunny. Wednesday partly cloudy 17, and Thursday sunny and 18. Currently in Adelaide it's 8. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Feel good health catch on with Bupa. Get up to 10 weeks free when you join Bupa on eligible products. T's and C's apply. For award-winning health insurance, search Bupa 10 weeks free today.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Unfold your story with Galaxy AI on the new Samsung Galaxy Z series. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 have big battery power for creating and playing. They both feature a slim dynamic screen that flips up or folds out. It has a new hinge, screen, powerful camera and Galaxy AI to drive on-the-fly language translation or edit photos. Pre-order the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Fold 6 before the 31st of July and receive a $400 Harvey Norman gift card and 1 year of Samsung Care Plus valued at $229 via redemption. Prices start from $1,799 for the Samsung Flip and $2,749 for the Fold at Harvey Norman. Terms and conditions apply.
Check out this great offer at a Harvey Norman store near you.
Now, I'm sure you all know what a swear jar is. In some homes it's fuller than others, but here is a swear jar that's full of goodness, not penance for swearing. The swear jar at Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, full of pledges and promises from the whole team at Urban of things that they swear to do for you.
So here's one straight from the Urban swear jar from Chloe, the operations manager. Chloe is now the new Jasmine, who's on maternity leave at the moment. Chloe, massive Crows fan, probably ranting after the game yesterday as well, hopefully. Queen of all bathroom renovation projects, more importantly, and Chloe swears to ensure all trades arrive on time every time, day in and day out.
For a team that swears to deliver on quality and service, see Urban Bathrooms and Kitchens, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
Nestled in the southeastern corner of the city is Hutt Street. It's not quite the city and not quite the suburbs. Hutt Street is your charming tree-lined boulevard with easy parking, specialty shops, luxury stores, restaurants, bars, beverages and everything in between. Whether you're there for a morning catch-up, to pamper yourself, browse the local shops, indulge in lunch, dinner or head out for an evening drink, Hutt Street is worth the visit. After all, it's your corner of the city. The best corner of the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 minutes to 9. If you jump on the 5AA Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, you'll see we've got a very special guest in the studio with us. It's the great John Schuman. John, good morning to you.
Good morning. What a joy it is to be here with you two giants of the broadcasting world.
I was saying before, John, I don't know if you heard, I'm just hoping this interview goes better than the one last time where I got the lyrics to I Was Only 19 wrong.
Yeah, well, you'd be the only one in Australia.
It's been on a few times.
No, well done, Bimbo.
Dinny. I think you said, who's Dinny? But anyway, we'll set that to one side. Hey, John, you're playing a gig this Saturday at the Gov, and your career, I don't want to age you, but it's...
No, don't.
Let's just say you've been writing songs and performing songs for about 4 decades, is that right?
Yeah, slaving away in the Tower of Song. Yeah, a long time, one way and another. Most other blokes would have given up.
Well, it's not a case of persistence, it's a case of ability. And, you know, we were chatting yesterday with you about, you know, which song do we focus on? It's a target-rich environment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
There's a few there.
Yeah, well, what I tried to do is make a kind of contribution to our storehouse of stories and culture, as opposed to singing songs about Las Vegas and Jackson and Memphis, places that I haven't been to and will avoid going to with, you know, all the fervour I can muster.
Well, there was a sort of a chorus of people from within the music industry when Katy Perry got announced as the AFL Grand Final artist. People saying, not just the AFL, but there's very little... The view from the industry I broadly characterise as this. There's not great support for Australian artists within Australia. Do you think that's fair, or are people being a bit precious these days?
Oh, look, I think it's fair. I mean, our artists are world-class, absolutely world-class. And if you think it's tough being in Australia, try being in the music industry in Adelaide. You know, if you live in Adelaide and you're in the music industry, you're a fool to yourself and a burden to the rest of society.
But your point about Vegas and Jackson and all of that, it's one of the great things you guys did with Red Gum, and then you as a solo performer, John, were you sang songs that resonated with us in an accent that we all share.
Yeah, it was quite strange. I remember we weren't allowed on Countdown because the producer didn't like my accent, which was terrific. No, seriously. It was terrific because we signed with a major label, CBS or Epic, or as it was then, and they were desperate to have us pimp around on Sunday night on Countdown. We weren't keen anyway, but the guy, the producer said, no, we don't like it. We don't like the politics and we don't like that guy's voice. It doesn't fit. So it was terrific because I just flipped the card, and this was actually, might I say, before Midnight Oil. I just said, what a great marketing thing. We will refuse to go on Countdown.
Yeah.
So we put out a press release before they got anywhere near it and said, we refuse to go on Countdown. So we were the band that refused to go on Countdown, and with much cred.
Pre-Oils as well.
Yeah.
Because they famously didn't go on.
Yeah, but after us.
Yeah. Did Chisel not go on as well?
No, Chisel went on and smashed the setup.
That's right. That's right.
Another proud moment from Elizabeth.
I don't know if that was a political statement. I think it was just because they were just really, really drunk.
Well, possibly.
Hey, can we focus on a song that you wrote that is one of your lesser-known works? I must admit, I hadn't heard it until you sent me the Spotify link yesterday, and it's about the shipwreck of the Star of Greece.
Yeah. The family story goes that my great-grandfather actually signed on the Star of Greece and didn't make it to join the ship before she sailed. He had actually sailed over from Albany on a 16-foot boat across the Great Australian Bight on his own to commission the building of his own boat. While he was there, the story goes that he took a job with a wealthy woman who lived up at Crayfors, and every few weeks he'd go down and hand over his wages and see how his boat was getting on. One time he was down there, the Star of Greece was in port, and she was looking for a crew. So he was a bosun, so he signed on, went back and told her that he was going to leave her employ and go to sea, at least to Sydney, and then he'd get a passage back again. Anyway, she wasn't very happy with this, and she asked him to go into the coal cellar that night. When he was in there, she locked him in and kept him there until the Star of Greece sailed, which is really interesting. Yeah, we think he was banging her, but nobody knows for sure. Did I say that? Dear listener, these boys have just choked on their coffee.
You can get away with the language of rock and roll after 8:30, I think. It's all right. Kids are in
One
school.
of the things I love about you, John, is a lot of people think of, the left-wing band Red Gum, but the truth is you got no real truck with political correctness, have you?
Oh, not at all. No, it drives me nuts. No, look, we're not sure about that, but, when you think about it, you'd have to say there must have been something going on for her to be dark about him going. Interestingly, there was an article or an interview that he did long time after that, where at that time he professed to be in Queensland, and I reckon he was just covering his tracks.
Likely story.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, good one, Grandad.
Not known as an alibi.
What's the success rate, or do you always get to the end when you find subject matter for a song like that, or you want to write something about your family, or something that's inspired you, or something from Australian history, whatever it might well be? Do you always get to the end of that process, or are there some you've left on the floor because you go, no, it just didn't, in the end it didn't work, or I didn't resonate?
No, generally speaking, if I start, I'll finish, but it'll take a lot of time.
Yeah. How long does it take to write a song like that?
How long's a piece of string? I mean, a song like Borrowed Ground, which I wrote about the rural crisis in 1987, I wrote that in about 10 minutes. I just watched a thing on the ABC.
Wow.
And I wrote it in about 10 minutes. I was only 19. I wrote... I listened to the interview with Mick Storan for probably 9 months on cassette. My Mrs. Denny, that's Denny. With an E, Panbo. She set me up with a ghetto blaster, and I recorded the conversation with Mick. And I listened to that for 9 months, but when I came to write the song, I had nothing, and I walked out into the yard. And I wrote it in about 15 minutes. Then another song that I'm particularly proud of, commissioned by the then Chief of Army, Lieutenant General David Morrison, about Indigenous service for the Anzac Centenary. It took me 10 days of 9 to 6. I went up to a village in Bali called Biankang Sidam, which sits outside of Ubud, and locked myself away, and I worked really hard. That was really hard. That was but I'm very proud of it, because when I look back, sometimes I'm singing it, and I'm thinking, gee, this is all right. Did I write this?
Yeah. Do you write the lyrics at the same time? Do you do it all in one hit?
Nah, you kind of get a bit of a feel and a bit of a couple of chords to get a bit of a tune, and you just keep playing it until something happens. But look at, that they say, and I'm sure you've heard this before, that creativity is 90% perspiration, 10% inspiration. I think that's probably right.
Yeah, you wonder where lines come from. This is me, no safety net trying to recall from memory a lyric from I was only 19, but
Hold on, John.
Is it the line?
Hold on.
And I can still see Frankie drinking tinnies in the Grand Hotel?
Yeah.
I just love that line.
Yeah.
I love the use of the word tinnies. Like, if you're not in Australia, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting because when we released that, the record company in Australia sent it over to America and said, "This has gone off like a frog in a sock. You guys should release it over there."
And they said, "What's a frog in a sock?"
And they said, "Well, no, well, almost." They said, I don't think they're going to understand the Australian terminology like puckapunyal and all that sort of stuff. So if they change the words to make it more friendly to American listeners, then we might think about it. Now, dear listener, I have my middle finger pointing towards the ceiling.
Yeah, the live stream.
Aim it at the camera.
Yeah,
because
we talked about Memphis and Jackson and Las Vegas and all that sort of stuff before, and I thought, look, we'd been subsisting on a diet of American culture for so long. I thought it was about time that some went back the other way. Anyway, they said no, and I stood on my dignity and said no, and I'm still working for a living.
I wonder if that's an era-specific issue. Because in this, I wonder if it'd be different if you'd released it now. Because there seem things like that are Australian cultural phenomena. I'm thinking of something like Bluey, the kids' TV show. It's full of real Australiana.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's huge in America, and Americans can now go online and say, what are they talking about? What's a cricket pitch? What are stumps? All this kind of stuff. Yeah. And it hasn't detracted from the enjoyment. It's almost added to it because we're this sort of online cosmopolitan world now. I wonder if it would have been seen differently releasing a song with such uniquely Australian verbiage if it was released now compared to back then.
Yeah, I don't know. But what I do know is that notwithstanding the record company in New York, every American Vietnam veteran that had ever heard the song has just gone absolutely nuts over it and could not believe that it wasn't released there. Could not believe.
Well, that makes
relatable.
That makes sense, yeah.
If we can relate to American song about American places, Americans are shrewd enough to come onto the message from one of our
think
shows.
so, but, look, there's a bit of cultural arrogance back there and, who knows? But, that ship sailed and here I am, still working for a living.
Imagine if you had changed it. And imagine if that became the universally recognised version of it. We would have lost a really important cultural artefact for this country.
Yeah, I think so.
That might have been the death of writing things in Australia.
Well, it might have been
for Australians.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
It hasn't helped you pay your bills, but thank you.
I wasn't. Thank you. Well, I wasn't about to do it. I just wasn't going to do it.
Have you ever done a conversation with Cornsey?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was really good.
Yeah,
he's very good at it.
No, he did one live on Friday with KG.
Excellent.
It was sensational.
No, look, he did one of the best interviews. I mean, other than you two boys, one of the best interviews that I've ever done. I reckon he's a very smart guy.
He is. I'm going to dig that out. I'm going to listen to that.
He said once. I said, "Oh, what's it? Something about being a coach," and he said to me, "The thing about being a coach is you've got to be smart enough to understand the game, but dumb enough to think it's important."
That sounds like right.
Absolutely brilliant.
Superb.
Absolutely brilliant, yeah.
John Schuman is our guest, and we could talk to you all day, John, but the march of time is against us. And he's playing this Saturday night at the Gov. Great venue, be a great setting, seeing him there at that wonderful Adelaide pub. Thanks for coming in, John. And also, we're going to play you out with a bit of the tune that the aforementioned tune about the Star of Greece tragedy, Thunder Across the Reef.
Star of Greece, she got a harbour clearance with a load of grain for home. Wind is tugging at the rigging, there's a low and a broken moan. Sailors arrive at their crossroads too, lines on a chart, etched in blue. Stand to the wind, run with the sea, thunder across the reef.
Catch all the action from the Olympic Games in Paris as 5AA brings you Nines coverage live each evening from 11:30. Don't miss a minute of the action as our Aussie stars set their sights on gold medal glory. Tune in tonight following Leith Forest as we cross to France for Nines coverage. Paris 2024, live from 11:30 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Coming up on 5AA Mornings today, we'll look at the issue of gas supplies. John Seeley from Seeley International launching a campaign against the Victorian government, telling people over there how important gas is moving forward. Meantime, he's moving his plant to South Australia. We'll look at a program also to tackle toxic masculinity in boys still at school. Those topics, a lot more coming up as well. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Join me from 9.
CMAX Clinical Research is seeking healthy participants to help trial a potential new treatment for primary biliary cholangitis. Your involvement could impact millions globally. You could be eligible for this trial. Call CMAX today if you're aged 18 to 65 and have no significant health concerns. You'll be paid for your time and contribution to help advance medical research. Want to know more about the study? Head on to cmax.com.au and look for the PBC study. That's cmax.com.au.
Working out what you can claim at tax time can be super confusing. Instead of missing out on money that's yours, just go with the experts at H&R Block and get more for sure. That's more help, more expertise, and more options. Did you know things like briefcases and handbags are claimable if you use them for work? This tax time, don't do it all yourself. Switch to H&R Block and get more with a maximum refund guarantee. H&R Block, more for sure. Book an appointment today at hrblock.com.au.
The 5AA studios are like a playground, and like most playgrounds, they do tend to get a little messy. Fortunately, Corporate Clean ensures they're always ready for another day of play. 5AA, one of over 200 businesses they clean throughout South Australia.
An unclean workplace leads to more absences and less productivity. Studies on bacteria have shown desktops can be just as unsanitary as bathrooms. Not in offices, however. Cleaned by Corporate Clean, where they don't cut corners, they clean them.
Corporate Clean are a locally owned business with over 30 years of experience cleaning all types of office settings. There's no one better suited for the job. For a free quote and assessment, go to corporateclean.com.au.
Stay warm this winter with Mac Trade Services. Take advantage of huge SA government rebates on reverse cycle air conditioners. If you are a concession card holder, you can get a reverse cycle Actron air conditioner from only $599, supplied and installed. That's nearly a 70% discount off the normal price. Get in quick while stocks last. Visit the Mac Trade Services office in Rose Park or call 1300 430 917.
G'day, there at Darlington, a smash to look out for. Seacombe Road at Miller Street, burst water main at Ashford, and Zach Highway to Maple Avenue speeds at 40. Slow for works at Mawson Lake, Salisbury Highway to Eldersmith Road, and starting to get busy for works at Morpheville this morning, Morford Road near Maxwell Terrace. Early morning cameras, East Terrace, Henley Beach, and Kings Road at Paralowing. Book your Asia getaway at Flight Centre and save up to 50%. Escape to Phuket for 8 nights from just $865 for 2. Hurry and soon. Book with Flight Centre today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
5 to 9, back for another year next week. We're celebrating our Undy Drive, supporting the great people at Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre, and we want you to be part of it. We need you to be part of it. In fact, you're the whole shebang,
yes,
as you might well say. You can donate even right now at 5AAUndydrive.com.au. There's going to be more ways than ever. Auction items, fun to be had, challenges, you name it. The entire impetus is, of course, raising as much money as possible for Catherine House and the Hutt Street Centre, who are unfortunately inundated with people. They're busier than ever. They need more support than ever. But we live in a time when it's harder for people to give support than ever. So the Undy Drive has never been more important. It all takes place next week.
Thanks to Daryl, who texted in saying everyone should lay off David Spears. He's done more than 50 trips to regional SA and talks about liberal bashing in the media at the moment. My only rejoinder to that would be, well, none of this happens out of in a vacuum. Like, there's some internal stuff going on that they need to get on top of. But Josh Teague's answer this morning,
Josh Teague was good.
Showed the way.
He's not the issue. Well, I think Josh Teague's not the issue.
No, well, there's something going on. But anyway.
Yeah, I think it's hard to... Look, it's as simple as this. There are people within the party, when things like this are happening, that are ringing up people in the media saying, this guy's hopeless.
Did you know this?
He needs to go. Have you heard? Can you believe what he's doing with his latest holiday? And don't quote me, but we are sick of this and so forth.
Happens across the divide.
Yeah, exactly right. It always, it's not a fabrication. It's generation. Let's have a look at the fuel situation. Members save on RAA Solar. RAA Innovation Proprietary Limited, SA Building Licence number 319335. Let's have a look at this. Fuel this morning. It's not bad. Under $1.70, a few spots. Cheapest, the United Main North Road Parac, $1.67.9. The OTR 5 Ash Drive Pasadena, $1.69.9. The ex-convenience Grand Junction Road Port Adelaide, $1.68.5. The cheapest diesel, the OTR South Road Ridleyton, at $1.77.9.
Tessa in Paraka on the text line says, I wouldn't have known John Schuman by name, to be honest, but following that interview, I'm thinking I need to address that gap in my musical education. I might even grace the Gov Saturday PM. Great chat. Good on you, Tessa. A lot of other people saying they loved the interview with John, including Ian from Glen Osmond, who recalls that John actually wrote a proposed club song for Port when they entered the AFL.
It's really good.
Yeah. I'm a wharfie, I'm a miner, goes on like that.
Yeah.
Probably got the lyrics wrong. I hope he's not listening.
That wouldn't be like you.
That's right. But yeah, they went with, we're going to never stop till we're top.
He's a great chat, John.
Sam just said in my ear, yell, at least we could beat Hawthorn. That is true.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah, at least you can hear the song occasionally.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
They should make Ken Hingley coach for life, Sam.
There's been a lot of one-fingered salutes happening, and I think John Schuman started it.
He lowered the tone.
He did. He really did lower the tone. We're out of time. 5AA Mornings with Matt Pantelis is coming up, and we will catch you tomorrow morning from 6.
Harris Scarf clearance sale is on now.